What up, motherfucker?
What up?
Not much. How are you?
Oh, good. I am good. Ready to play some Minecraft and chillax.
Nice. You got everything set up. You
Yep.
got the new Optifine
Yes.
downloaded.
Yep. Stream is up. I've got the latest Optifine. I had Windows updates I had to install. And oh, hey, Rusinka and Koala Kicker. What's up? Already got some of our friends with us.
Did I ever tell you what my whatchamacallit, my text message ring?
Your what? Your text message ringtone? I think you did. What was it again? Oh yeah. Yeah. My original one was the sound of the Meeseeks box opening, and it was I'm Mr. Meeseeks, look at me. And now it's the bird person one. Oh my god, Rasinka! Thank you for the sub, 35 months. Oh my god, I don't deserve this. I've been really shitty about streaming lately too, so I really appreciate that. Yeah, let me see here. No, I want to play the sound. No, is it? No. Come on, motherfucker. Phone ringtone. Default notification sound. Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, you couldn't hear that?
No. Person, no! I heard person. That was it.
All right, let's try one more time.
Person, no! I heard part of it. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know why. I'm so proud of that. Like I've had it go off when I've been on conference calls and stuff. Like I'm in the middle of describing some technical thing, and then just out of nowhere, bird person, no!
We were looking at houses today, and I was standing there, and we were talking, and we're deciding on this house, and all of a sudden I hear, "Ooh, yeah, I can do," and Connie and the wife loses her shit, and the realtor's like, "What the hell is that?"
Yep. Those are good moments. Well, hey, I'm going to head down into the mine and just continue on with a little bit of branch mining. Yeah, I think that's what I want to do right now. So I'm just going to start with some of that to get warmed up.
Okay, I will join you in just a second.
Sweet. Oh, thanks, Rasinka. You're too kind. Well, you know, I'll at least say that I'm doing everything I can to get the streams in. I am. I know I've gone a couple of weeks where I think I went like 2 weeks without streaming, but I'm at least trying to get 1 or 2 in every week. For reasons that I won't go into, it has been much more difficult to, do what was my normal stream schedule.
It's all good.
Fucking love this game though, man. Hot damn. It's the best game ever. Your boss has Gangnam Style as his ringtone? Jeez.
That's pretty lame.
That's so 2000 and late. Actually, what year was Gangnam Style? Was that 2013? 2014? I think it was like 2014, I feel like.
It's been a minute, that's for fucking sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember when that came out, like, everyone just thought it was the most hilarious thing. I mean, it was pretty funny. The first 5 or so times. And then it became, oh my god, this song is basically the Macarena of the 2010s. Please don't ever, ever put it on again.
Hey, Macarena.
Oh, Rasinka said 2012. Wow. Even longer ago than I remembered. And there were ponies in it? I guess, oh yes, I remember that part, the pony part. Okay, good. Yes, we got that. Come on, Diamond! Woo! Little diamond dogs. So looking at houses today, huh? How's the house hunt going?
Good, we've narrowed it down to 2.
Sweet. Have you put any offers in yet, or?
We're going to this weekend, depending on which one we like more today, this week, tomorrow.
Yeah. Awesome, man. Hi.
We're ready for the surprise.
Okay, is that, the kids are there and everything?
Can you pause it or mute it for a sec?
Hold on one sec.
Yep.
Okay, are you there?
Yeah.
Am I able to hear him?
No, you won't be able to hear him. Okay, well, alright, so Bridget and the kids are here, and we had an announcement we wanted to make. Yeah, I guess there's no way for them to hear. So, alright, the announcement is officially, we're moving to Denver in 3 months. We're going to be up there by August.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Yep.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, the kids are so excited. Yeah, they wanted to all come in and tell you, but then the kids just chickened out, and they said that they didn't want to say anything. It was gonna be like a chorus, very anticlimactic. But yeah,
Dude, that's awesome. 3 months.
Yeah, so middle of August, we need to get up there before the next school year. Just with Isla starting middle school next year, and
Is school gonna be open?
I mean, assuming it is, because I think schools there don't start till September. So, yeah, it's a decision we just made a couple days ago, and we've been kind of going through some of the logistics, and we have about a billion reasons to do it.
Dude, that's awesome. Do you guys need help moving? I mean,
we might need some help. We're figuring all of that out. We're probably going to be going to get a new truck tomorrow, trade in her car and get a truck. And we've already packed up. I mean, Bridget's been packing the last, 3 days or so. And then the kids have started packing. And yeah, there's a lot to do because we got to get a real estate agent. We're probably going to get that set up tomorrow. And then we'll need a real estate agent down here to help us sell our house. And we may have to just own 2 houses for a period of time, depending on how hard it is to sell. But yeah, we just kind of realized, especially with the pandemic, if we don't jump on it now, like who knows what's going to play out over the next 12 months. But looking at where everything's at right now and the interest rates you can get on a freaking mortgage, and
yeah, we got 3%.
Yeah, it's
But we have 6
they're good.
pets, so it's gonna be hard.
Yeah, we have 6 pets. That's going to be the hardest part of the move. We're trying to figure out, all right, how does that work? How do we drive 12 and a half hours with 4 cats and 2 dogs?
And 2 children.
And
And 2
it's a
children.
long 12 hours. Like I've done it in a day, and it is.
Yeah, well, we're going to do it over 2 days. We'll probably drive to Albuquerque and then
That's what we do.
do the final leg the second day or something. Yeah, so it's a oh, hi, Yogurt. Hello, you. Come here. Oh, yes.
When you're driving, you take off brakes.
Oh, she says hi. I'm Yogurt. Yeah, Yogurt's huge. She's bigger than Poppy now. So, I hope that's good news for you, Matt.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, that's awesome. I'm super happy for you guys.
Tell your boss.
Yep, I still need to tell my boss too. But he's
really?
already expressed support and everything, and there shouldn't be a problem. Since we're all working remotely anyways, that's part of the reason I'm accelerating it. Is it's like, well, look, we've all demonstrated we can work perfectly effectively remotely. While we're all still doing it, why don't I just move to Denver? So when I go back to the office, we've already got it all figured out. So,
Dude, that is great news.
yeah, it's fantastic. We're very, very excited. Kids are excited. Bridget's excited. I'm excited.
You do know you have free babysitter, right?
Well, that's part of the reason we're moving up there so soon. We need a goddamn babysitter, man. We're tired of this. Like, oh my god, we can't do anything because.
What happened? Did she bite you?
Well, I mean, Isla's getting close to that age where she can babysit for real, but not quite. For an hour or 2. But if we wanted to do like a 6-7 hour thing or a concert, that's where.
Sweet. Well, I will be right back. I'm gonna go tell.
Awesome. Matt's going to tell Connie,
Oh, okay, awesome.
so he said he'll be right back. He's very excited. And thank you, Rasinka and Koala Kicker. I appreciate the support. Yeah, I'll be living likely 1 hour away from Matt. Maybe 1.5 hours away. He lives down in Colorado Springs. We're gonna move up to Denver. And
She
yeah,
says-
Doc Sauce.
I'm sleeping.
She says
So
I'm
I didn't
sleeping.
wake her up. Yeah, I didn't wake her up.
That's fine. Well,
Yeah, that's awesome, dude. I mean, that's really cool.
yeah.
I'm super.
Why doesn't it
Yeah, I'm so stoked.
crash again?
All right. Well, you guys, anything else you guys want to say?
Yogurt got into the trash.
Are we gonna go to the
Yogurt got into
Denver Zoo?
trash. That's what.
Q-tips all over the floor.
Q-tips all over the floor. All right. Can you close? If you guys are done, you want to close the door for me, so I'm not bugging you all. Thank you. Love you guys.
So yeah, you guys will get free babysitters and. Man, that's cool.
Yep.
We'll be in the same time zone.
It's about time I
I
live close to
I
my
think you'll
my
like-
one true childhood friend.
Yeah, and there's lots to do in Denver. It's a lot more progressive than where you guys are. Colorado pretty much led the effort in legalizing marijuana. Mushrooms
Oh,
are
yeah, I'm super-
are
Mushrooms are decriminalized, right?
correct. Yeah, for medical use.
Yeah, I'm super excited for many, many reasons, and to be honest, those are also reasons I'm excited. Not that I would ever do anything like that because it's illegal here, but if it's
Right.
not illegal, hey, I'm up for
Right.
experiencing some life.
Solar's really big. Denver's a really progressive
Yeah.
town. We have a Democrat mayor, Jared Polis, Polis. He seems to be doing a pretty good job. But yeah, you guys will be an hour from us.
Yeah. Yeah, we're looking.
So
I mean, we're literally tonight. We're working on making our list of what we need our new house to have, size of the house, just all those details, and we're gonna make the call tomorrow. Try to find a really good real estate agent. And
so I do know a really good real estate agent out here who I've been working with, and I really like her. Like she's been kicking ass and taking names, and she works. So if you want
we need someone that's going to work hard, because the last real estate agent we got was a fucking wet, smelly fart, and I hated it. She was such a horrible real estate agent.
So I will tell you right now, you will like this lady. Her name's Lisa. I'll give you all her contact info. I referred her to one of my coworkers, and he was like, "Yeah, this is." And he's had 4 houses. He's in his 50s, and he's like, "Yeah, working with her has been probably one of the best experiences I've ever had with a realtor."
That's cool. Yeah, this will be our third house. Probably, hopefully, our second to last house. We'll have, I think, at some point in the future, a final house we move into once I'm done working in a secluded area in the woods, and it'll be amazing. But we'll get there. We'll get there a little later. Kids
Are you looking at Castle Rock or South Denver?
Yeah, we're looking at Castle Rock, Centennial, Castle Pines, anywhere within 25 minutes of the Denver Tech Center, which is where the office is for where I work.
So that's actually her area.
Oh, well, great. Well, shoot, send me the contact info over. And Doc Sauce, sorry, I want to address your questions. What kind of dog is that? She is a certified mutt. We don't know what yogurt is, but we think she's part Rhodesian Ridgeback, maybe? Possibly part, I don't know if she's got a little bit of Labrador or German Shepherd in her. It's hard to say. Not really been able to pin that one down, but she's our dog and we love her. And then, so you caught on. Doc Sauce. We're going to be moving to Denver in 3 months, middle of August. Say goodbye to Phoenix forever. I'll be back in Phoenix all the time, though, because that's where my main team is, so I'm sure I'll be traveling down here like once a month. Maybe I'll shack up with my coworkers. I get along with all of them pretty well, so maybe we'll save on some travel expenses. Just wrote. I mean, that's quite presumptuous of me, but I'm sure a few of them wouldn't mind me crashing at their place whenever I need to travel into town. I do feel bad about, like, I don't want to go too far asking, the company I work for to bend over backwards, but I've also, I've earned my keep, and I think they're going to be willing to let this go through pretty smoothly. I told them a year ago that I'd eventually be moving, so they already know, and I've gotten, I've kind of gotten the blessing from my main boss already. So I'm not worried about any of that. One way or another, we're gonna make it happen, and it's a sure deal by announcing it on here. And this isn't the kind of thing that we're going to say we're gonna do and back out of. Like it. There's no other choice. It's happening.
That's awesome. I'm super happy.
Yeah, me too, man. Doc Sauce says the CEO of Redfin says there was a spike in people moving because of remote work has proven possible. Well, put us in that bucket. I think it would have happened regardless, but that certainly made the decision easier. Like, oh shit, I better jump on this now while the company is like in a remote work mode anyways. It'll probably feel like less of a crazy transition because that's what we're all doing right now as it is. And then, we're prepared to, if we need to, we're prepared to just continue to own our house here, and we'll just have to pay a mortgage on both houses for however many months it takes to sell.
Yeah, like I said, she works, so she's part of the Pikes Peak Realtor Association and the, whatever the Denver regional area is, but she mainly operates in South Denver and Colorado Springs.
Oh,
and surrounding area.
Beautiful.
Yeah, and she's a second generation realtor, super cool lady. Like, she's been working with us now for 2 weeks, and she emails us every single day. Like, she has been on the fucking money.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I will definitely get you her contact info. I highly, 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 highly recommend her. She's done nothing but great works.
That's fantastic.
And like I said, and I told her right from the get-go, I said, you know, you need to be brutally honest with what you think about these things. And she has been. Like, she's pulled no punches.
Yeah.
She says, I like this, I don't like this. You know, and she can kind of read when we don't like something. And, you know, she'll give you she'll give you a free warranty for all the appliances in the house for a year. So she pays the first, like, it's like $400, but
Wow.
she will. So any of the appliances break within a year, it's covered under her warranty that she provides through another company. She basically sets you up on this web portal, and she lets you view all the MLS listings based on what what preferences you have, what areas you select.
Yep.
And she brings snacks and stuff. Like, she's been really great to work with.
Yeah. I'm feeling good about this move because our price range now is above a level where everything that we need in a house and that we want, just the stuff we've looked at is all in our price range. And we looked up the value of our house and it's actually gone up. I've been waiting to see, like, with this whole pandemic, our home price is going to plummet, and no, it's been the opposite actually. Especially we're very, very lucky to live in the area we live in Phoenix. It's a very, like, highly desirable area because Scottsdale is so expensive, and this is like a Scottsdale-like area, but not in Scottsdale. So, I won't deny that some of this is just, very, very good fortune that certain life things have happened when they've happened, and we've, a lot of hard work,
That's
obviously,
awesome.
but also some good fortune in there too. And yeah, I agree, Rasinka. She says, I think peeps are realizing that city life can suck when you can't leave your property. Yeah. Yeah, our ultimate goal is get out of the city one day. I've lived in cities since I was 8 years old, and I will have many more years of living in the city, but ideally, if we can get a house in, like, Castle Rock or Castle Pines, it's close enough that I could get to work, be like a 25-minute drive, and I'd be to work, and I'm fine with a 25-minute commute. That's no problem for me.
Castle Rock is expensive.
Not a problem for us.
Yeah, but it's growing like crazy, so I mean, I think you would definitely in 5 to 7 years be able to
make a nice profit off that equity.
if you get the right house,
yeah.
And she'll put you, and Lisa will put you in the right direction. I will send you her stuff tomorrow and let her know.
Please
that
do. I always prefer recommendations over just, like, looking at Yelp reviews, especially when it comes to such a big thing like this and them earning these huge commissions on the sale. Like, I want people to I know how much money they make. I want them to earn what they're fucking making. I'm sorry. I've had really, really bad experiences. So
you don't pay her. You actually don't pay her. The seller pays her.
Well, right. She gets paid, though. It's in her interest to she's going to get a percentage based on the
but knowing that, she hasn't slacked at all.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's all I need to hear is that she, someone that's going to work hard. Our last real estate agent, fuck it, I'll just get into it. She sucked really bad. Like, when we bought our very first house in 2009, when we moved up to Phoenix, we stayed in a townhouse for like 4 months, and while we were in the townhouse, we got this real estate agent who helped us look at houses. And she wasn't, like, terrible necessarily, but she was just kind of slacked it a little bit here and there at getting things done, and it's like we kind of had to stay on top of her because we're like eager to move things along. And so anyway, it wasn't terrible. When we went to sell our house in 2016 and to buy the house we live in now,
cotton candy grapes.
Ooh, I'll have a couple.
I just ate a whole bunch.
Oh,
you don't have to eat them all.
Oh my god, cotton candy grapes are so good. So we went to sell the house we were in and buy this house. And we really liked the broker that worked with our real estate agent. And so we had called the broker, just to say like, hey, we're interested in, getting a new house, and we wanted to get some information on like what kind of loan we could get. And without asking us, she immediately forwarded it on to that real estate agent, and then she like reached out to us, and stupidly we were just like, oh, all right, yeah, we're looking to buy a new house. She just kind of barged her way back in as our real estate agent. I think we were just going through some stress and hard times at the time, so we weren't looking to fight. But it turns out she didn't even live in Arizona anymore. We had to do all of the searching for houses. Like, we went through, found houses. Like, she showed us a couple things, but everything she showed us was garbage. And so we did a lot of our own searching and then asked her to set up, we'd like send her information, be like, hey, can you set this up? It wasn't until the day we signed papers that she actually came down here and we saw her in person.
Oh my god.
We had to tour all the houses by ourselves. I had to do all the negotiating. It was a fucking nightmare. Like, she literally did nothing. And then I had to pull like all the paperwork together. I had to come up with like a crazy strategy to be able to afford the down payment and to like make everything work, and because we had to do this crazy thing where we sold our house and then immediately transferred the profits from that house to serve as the down payment for the new house. Because we didn't have like a giant cash down payment. It would have been like $70,000, I think, for the 20% down we were doing. And so, yeah, I had to work it all out. And literally, like, the only thing she did really was just prepare the papers for us to sign. And so I asked her at the end of it, I said, considering all the work we had to do and the fact that you basically did nothing, I'd like you to please take a cut on your commission, and so that I can get these monthly payments down a little lower. And she agreed to like a 1.5% cut on her commission, and then we swore that we would never reach out to her again.
Wow.
Yeah, it was just bad. Anyways, Rosika had said, oh, I know. Rosika had said, country life has its own issues, but I'm glad we have a backyard right now. Hell yeah. And hey, LD Trickster, what's up, man? How's it going? So yeah. Yeah, about to have a crazy couple of months ahead of us here. I think what made it a done deal for us was realizing that we don't have to rely on selling this house to get our new house. Like, we have what we need to make a down payment, and we can afford 2 mortgages at once if we need to. So like those are like 2 major factors. Like, that's why we're being, waiting and drawing it out until all of that came together, and we realized that we kind of just crossed that threshold. And yeah, lots of reasons why this was the right decision. So anyways, enough of that. Do you want to go to the Nether, or are you getting on here soon?
Yeah, I'm just loading in. Sarah is finishing up a map.
No worries. I think I'm gonna go to the Nether. I'd like to.
And I got distracted by our conversation.
Yeah. Yeah, understandably. I know you've been waiting to hear that one for a long time. I mean, we've been talking about it for how many years now? Us eventually living in the same area. And...
20-something years.
I mean, when's the last time we lived in the same? I mean, we lived in Tucson at the same time. Was that 20?
Well, I was in.
Not 20 years ago.
No, because I was in Tucson. You were in Phoenix.
No. 2006, 2007, 2008. I think you lived in Tucson.
No. Yeah,
for
I did.
A couple of those years.
Yeah, that's when I was working on the.
Yeah, so I want to say it was like 13, 14 years ago was the last time we lived in the same area.
Wow. That's cool. Yeah, you guys will be able to... We can watch the kids. You guys can go out. We can go to... I mean, we recently went to the Marilyn Manson concert up in Denver. They have a really good venue up there. And then Red Rock.
Oh, yeah. No, that's what me and Bridget have been talking about is like we cannot wait to go to a concert at the Red Rock Amphitheater. Like
yeah,
the world's only natural structure that is acoustically perfect. Like it's the only place in the world that's completely natural and has perfect acoustics for concerts and stuff.
Yep.
That's some awesome shit. Okay, you know what? Before I go up there,
are you going to the Nether?
I will be. Okay, you know what? I'm just gonna...
Yeah, Red Rocks is fun. There's another amphitheater, the Fillmore?
Yeah, I'm familiar with the Fillmore. Dave Chappelle had a famous comedy special there.
Okay, so that's where we went. Really, really cool venue. They have like 5 bars and like it's kind of it's not really small, but it's not like it's close, but it's a really good venue. So we saw Manson there, and I mean we were probably 100 yards from him with great seats for $100.
I gotta say, I can't stand Marilyn Manson, but it sounds awesome.
If it was better music, good, dude. He wasn't that bad. We were real skeptical, and I was like, hey, you only live once, and we had a great time.
That's cool.
He did. Yeah, he got up there, and Connie said it was great because he was fat, so it was always funny to see a fat Manson. So that's her joke. But he did. He came out and he said, "Hey, it's good to be back here. I had some real tough times here a long time ago. So thank you for all my fans that have supported me throughout the years. Because the whole Columbine thing."
Oh God, that's right. I forgot he got blamed for a lot of that. That was so stupid.
So
people always want to blame the people that don't need to be blamed.
Yep, exactly. So he came out and said, thank you to all my fans, and he's like, this one's for you guys. And he says I want all the lights shut off in the theater. So they shut all the lights off, and then he told everyone to turn on their flashlights on their phone. And everyone had their phone out or a lighter or something, and they lit up the whole amphitheater with just their flashlights on their phone. And they're waving it back and forth while he was singing Sweet Dreams. Dude, it was pretty fucking cool.
Awesome, man.
So, but yeah, Red Rocks, like I would love to see like Five Finger Death Punch or...
Five Finger Death Punch isn't too bad. They're a little generic. Like they do kind of sound like just super generic hard heavy metal, but that's not necessarily a bad thing.
No, I mean they're good rock,
I just feel like I've been tainted by it's like I heard Tool, and now I can't listen to any other hard rock because nobody comes close to Tool.
Have you heard the new album?
Yes, I have.
Oh my god,
it's really good, man. I love it. I don't know why. I've tried listening to so much other heavy metal, and back in the day, I loved System of a Down and I loved Disturbed.
They're not heavy metal,
but they're exactly. They're not quite what you would say is quote unquote heavy metal. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hold on, I gotta count these out.
They're their own genre of music. But we watched the video of David Carey, I think his name is, the drummer. And that motherfucker plays every single note on the drums. It's nobody else. It's him. There's no synthesizers. There's no sound effects
Yeah.
on Numa, I think it's Numa. That is 100% him playing his own drums that he picked out, and one of them is, I think there's like 3 or 4 African style drums that he plays in Numa,
Mm-hmm.
and it's you don't hear that anywhere else. But everyone's like, hey, is this sound effects? Is this like 2 people playing? No, it's one badass motherfucker.
Well,
on the drum.
I feel like that's a part of why Tool resonated with me so much when so much other music in that genre, whatever genre you want to call it, so much of that music just has never really worked for me, and a lot of it really is the percussion. Like, man, when you really listen to their songs and you listen to like just the beat and the percussion, it's so pronounced, and it's just, I don't know, it's just, I can't describe, I don't know, I don't have a good musical vocabulary to describe why I like it so much. But those dudes fucking rock, man.
But to listen to them in Red Rocks would be amazing.
I know.
Like, oh my god, I would kill.
Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Incubus.
Oh yeah, do they still tour?
Yeah, I saw them a couple years ago in Phoenix. Of course that they're a lot older now, and a few of them have kids, and they're not like touring full time like they would have back in the early 2000s.
But can you imagine hearing them at Red Rocks?
Well, so
Oh my god.
I have. It's actually on the DVD shelf behind me. I actually at one point got all of these DVDs of Incubus live performances, because for a period of time they were my number one favorite band. Like, just loved Incubus. So many of their songs, just beautiful songs, and I love the DJ. Like, they had a really unique sound going on with all of that. Anyways, sorry. Just Minecrafty real quick. I'm gonna pop my wings on, and then I'm gonna fly over to the stronghold. Oh wait, no, hold on. No, I don't need to go there. I'm sorry. I'm gonna go straight to the Nether. I'm all good. I've got everything packed up.
I'm just cooking some food, so I'll be just a minute.
But anyways, to finish my rambling, I got a bunch of these DVDs of Incubus performances, and one of them was Incubus live at Red Rocks. And so I've watched it. It's probably one of my favorite performances to watch, and of course nothing beats being there in person. Like, you can't recreate that experience on, a DVD God. That's a recording of it. But like,
because you look out over a valley. It's like a huge.
Oh, but the venue is gorgeous. Like, part of why I like that video so much is just that venue is incredible.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man, you're gonna love Denver. You're gonna and you guys will be able to come down to Colorado Springs and check out, Garden of the Gods. Like, if you want to see some cool shit, like Garden of the Gods, the mountains. Like, there's so much ski. Are you in the Nether?
Yeah, I just got in the Nether. I'm heading towards our ice tunnel.
Coming to you. But all the ski resorts, right? So you're like an hour from like world-class ski resort.
I know. Yeah, we've like listed out all the pros and cons, and there's not a single con for moving to the, like, there's literally nothing that I could bother putting down on paper that would be considered a negative, just because our preferences are what they are. Phoenix, we never wanted to live here to begin with. Like, we were so bummed when I got the job offer. I was so stoked to get a job offer, but we had kind of said like Phoenix would be the last place on earth we would ever want to live. And 11 years later, I think I've been here long enough.
And the other nice thing is you're right near Denver International, right? So you can fly anywhere in the world for stupid cheap.
Yeah. And I mean, so many other reasons the timing couldn't be better. One of those big reasons being that flights are so cheap. So if we need to make some flights up there to look at houses, and we talked about we might even make an initial trip up there in June or July and get a storage unit. And if we're buying a truck, maybe rent a trailer and like do the, get a feel for what the drive is like, drive up there, spend, a week. or several days up there, get some shit in a storage unit, and then come back down so we have less that we need to transport when we make the official move.
And something else to think about too is I could drive up there and deal with like taking pictures or.
Oh shit! Can you bring an ender chest?
Where?
I forgot to bring an ender chest.
I'm already like on the boat.
All right, I'm going back.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm just so excited.
Forgot what I was gonna say. So if you need someone to like check out houses or take pictures for you, or find out more information about shit, like I could totally be your eyes and ears.
Well, I appreciate that. It's awesome.
Yeah, I mean, Castle Rock's only like 30, 45 minutes from us.
Oh, is it that close? Damn. That's really sweet.
Castle Rock's not that far. So Castle Rock's from my house is about 30. Because it takes us an hour to get to the airport.
Oh, awesome, man.
The nice thing is if you needed to scooch over to the airport real quick, there's a toll road in South Denver, right by the tech center. It's exit 200, I believe, and you basically pay it's like $15 each direction, and awesome. it's a toll road that's no lights, 65 miles an hour, minimum 50, and you just haul ass through, and you can expense that shit. It makes getting to the airport so you don't have to deal with Denver traffic.
Rasinka asks, doesn't Denver have that big blue horse at the airport that killed the artist? What?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Yes, they do.
That killed the artist?
So
a big blue horse?
I think it like fell on the artist. So it's a bucking bronco. Basically, it's a big blue horse on 2 feet, on 2 legs, rearing up with red eyes, right at the Denver International Airport. And I think it fell on him, if I'm not mistaken. That or he got poisoned from the metal.
Oh God!
How
many years ago was this?
I couldn't even tell you. And they're remodeling Denver International Airport, so it's all brand new.
Yeah. Well, I've been out to Denver a couple of times in the last year, and I've seen some of the remodeling they've been doing.
Yeah. The other nice thing that I really like about the airport is now
she says Lucifer.
What's that?
Lucifer. I assume that's its name.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the nickname they gave it because it killed him. But it's got red eyes, so it looks like this fucking demonic horse. But they're, the Denver Broncos is the team.
Yeah, of course.
Right. And the Avalanche, which is their hockey team. I don't know if you're into hockey, but they
nope, I'm
they
into
won
no sports. Fuck sports.
They won the Stanley Cup 3 years ago, I think. So we have a good sports. Yeah, we have good sports. I have no idea about the schools.
Schools are good. I'm pretty sure the marijuana tax directly funds education there, and that legalized weed is bringing in a fucking shit ton of money to the government.
I think it's $14 billion a year.
Yeah, I mean, no doubt it's
with a B.
That's why it's so frustrating. Like, why? Like, it should be a foregone conclusion. Like, everyone wants it legalized now. Like, fucking make it legal and tax the shit out of it. Like, oh shit, what am I doing?
There's more microbreweries in Colorado than any other state in the nation. Just FYI.
Yeah.
So, tons and tons of microbreweries. Breckenridge is where Connie and I went on our first date or second date. I had a timeshare for a week. It wasn't quite our second date, but we had been dating for like 2 or 3 months at the time. And I got us a week in Breckenridge. Wow. And that place is incredible. I love Breckenridge. It's a ski resort town. It's right near South Park, Colorado. Cool. You actually go through South Park, Colorado, and they do have a Casa Bonita in South Park. No lie.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's a real thing. And Breckenridge, you'd have to see pictures of it because it just, I mean, me telling it doesn't do any justice. But like some of the slopes end at the resorts. So you literally ski down the mountain, and you stop at the doors to the restaurant of the resort hotel. And they have like indoor, outdoor heated pools, so you have to like swim under this glass like wall to get to the outside, and it's literally like 2 feet of snow and freezing outside, but you're in this like heated pool.
Wow.
And they have a Bubba Gump shrimp restaurant. They have their own distillery, Breckenridge Distillery, that makes whiskey. And then they have tons of different festivals. Like they have the Drunk Santa Run, where everyone dresses like Santa and they run down the street drunk as fast as they can.
That's funny.
And then they have the Mother Loaded Tavern. That we went there when we found out that Twinkie Hostess was going bankrupt. So we got deep fried Twinkies the night that Hostess was going out of business. So this giant dude, he must have been 450 pounds, comes out, and he looked more like Jabba the Hutt, and his name was Big Sexy. And he served us up these fried Twinkies and Bloody Martys. So instead of a Bloody Mary,
Martys?
Yeah.
What?
It's like a Bloody Mary, except it has 2 olives and a Slim Jim.
Okay.
and then bacon shots. So it's a shot of Jameson with a sizzling slice of bacon in the shot.
Wow.
And then they have the tsunami. And the description says, the food item says, if you have to ask for it, you don't want it. So I was like, all right, what's the tsunami, right? And the guy goes, I think it was a guy or a girl. She goes, you guys seem like nice people. I'm not going to give this to you. But basically what you do is if you're in a party of people.
Grab buttons right here. Grab these 3 stacks. Let's run back and put buttons on all these blue ice blocks.
Okay.
Anyway, go ahead.
Basically, someone orders a tsunami, and they come to the table, and it's a big deal. And while they're serving up your drink, it's an alcoholic beverage of whatever. Someone like another server is at a table right behind you, and they have a camera, and they go on the count of 3. You take the shot, and you say tsunami. 1, and everyone counts down 1, 2, 3, and you take the shot, and then the server behind, like who's helping the other table, turns around and right when you yell tsunami, and he throws a giant glass of water in your face.
Wow, what an asshole.
Yeah, and their theme is Mother Loaded Tavern, MILF, mothers in love with food.
Wow.
Like,
well, this all sells me on Denver, I must say. All right.
Yeah, so it's not Denver, it's Breckenridge, but
let's try to make sure the buttons all face the same way too.
What do you mean?
You're doing it right. I'm just saying, don't do it sideways, because then they'll be oblong. Yeah, just.
Oh, okay, yeah. So Breckenridge also has the Breckenridge also has the Viking Festival, which is every November, I think, where basically everyone dresses up as Vikings, and they have giant bonfires, and they shut down the streets, and they do Viking Festival stuff, and kind of like a Renaissance fair, but for Vikings, and everyone
Sweet.
drinks. And then last year, they broke the Guinness Book of World Records for the world's longest shot ski. Do you know what a shot ski is?
No.
So it's basically a ski that you ski on that has holes in it that you place shot glasses, and basically you and 3 or 4 other people all take it at one time, and you take the 4 shots all together.
I see. So you have to tilt the ski and all, like, it's all or nothing.
Yeah, generally it gets all over the place, but that's the fun part of it, right? So they broke the world record for the world's longest shot ski, and I think it was like 1.3 miles long, one attached board that had holes in it, and basically everyone tilted it up and did shots together. Like, dude, it's a different place. Like, it's not Phoenix. Like,
Nope.
You're definitely in the land of paradise, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, I just go back to I've I've heard you describe many, many different places you've lived in, and every single place that you've ever lived in, you have talked about how much you hated it, how shitty it was for one or many reasons. And when you moved to Denver, even, you know, these couple years later, I still have yet to hear you say a negative thing about it, except for, you know, all the liberal hippies.
It's not that bad, though. So, you know, Colorado Springs is incredibly conservative. Denver is very liberal, but everyone gets along, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I think I told you the story of when I first moved here, where we were at the Starbucks, and these two guys were having a political discussion about, you know, Trump and Hillary, and obviously they're of two different schools of thought, but they're very civil about their disagreements.
As are we.
Right, but nowhere else. Right? Like, you can go pretty much anywhere else in the world, and someone has, like, some...
Hey, what's up, exist?
Bad to say about some political whomever, but it's not that bad. I mean, it's more... I mean, yeah, like I said, there's definitely camps, but no, like, armed, like storm the Capitol, my body, my choice kind of shit.
That's good. My body, my choice. I'm sorry, every time I cannot handle the thickness of that irony of them using that specific phrase. Like, why are they doing that? Okay.
It's funny because it's like, we're gonna storm the Capitol with our assault rifles and say it's our body, our choice. Like, wait, don't you motherfuckers have like bunkers?
Yeah, and it's like and then they're gonna go to their anti-abortion rally, and you know, they can't hold that sign up there.
No, yeah, right, but they're not at an anti-abortion rally. They're at a coronavirus.
I know. It's just like I mean, some of them have to have noticed that by going out there, you know, these people that, I mean, let's just be real. Most of the people protesting and doing that would be of the particular camp that they are almost all likely pro-life, right? Wouldn't you expect that?
So I think the person who did that was trying to be like, oh, you guys get to say this and bitch about it. Now I'm saying and bitching about it, but it kind of defeats the purpose.
Well, yeah, that's what I've been trying to figure out. I was like, is this phrase being used ironically, or are they just not aware?
I think they're using it to be ironic, sort of like, you guys say it, now it's my turn to say it, you know, because you know
so hard to know.
We don't like shit pushed on us either, but then it kind of like, well, yeah, motherfuckers. Yeah. That's the point.
Can you grab some blue ice, and let's work on getting the ice extended. I've got cobblestone slabs. I might need more.
I got all the blue ice. And Pig Bick.
God, I love that. I love that so much. Pig Bick.
Actually, you know what? I do have an extra pick.
Hold on.
Would you like Pig Bick?
No,
I would like to.
I'm good. No, don't sacrifice your Bick. I literally have. Sure? Oh, there was a night that I played, and I made like 3 more amazing crafted pickaxes, so I have like 6.
Well, then just give me one of those, and you can have Pig Bick. I would love to you.
All right, what does it have on it? What does it have on it?
Mending, Fortune 3, Efficiency 5 on break.
So it's all fully maxed out, and it's Fortune, you said?
Yeah, Fortune 3, Efficiency 5 on break.
Okay, I will trade God's Toothpick.
Pig Bick is yours, sir. I would like you to have.
Wow. This is a huge honor. Thank you.
You're very welcome. I know how much you like that pickaxe, and you have saved me from my mistakes.
Did I scare you?
No. From my mistakes in the past, so yes. I would like you to have it as my best friend.
Well, means a hell of a lot, man. All right, I need to make a few more slabby slabs here. Slabberooskies. And boom, ready to go. All right, let's do this.
Every time I pull that thing out, you're like, God, I love that name. I'm just like, you know what? One of these days, I'm just gonna give him that pickaxe because honestly, like, I would like for him. So there you go.
Well, thank you. Rusinka says, I love the Photoshop images of them holding large dildos instead of guns. We had protests here, less guns, but the same levels of stupid. So, Matt, as a fan of like gun rights and everything, can you explain to me why these protesters are storming these buildings with like rifles and shit?
Because they see what the government's doing as some form of tyranny, I guess.
What are they planning to do with those guns, though?
Do you want my opinion, or do you want me to give you my best guess of what they're thinking?
I want your opinion.
I think that they are letting the government know that they're not going to lay down and just let the government take over, right? So, to have that mindset, you have to definitely.
You gotta. Fix those.
Oh, there's a mistake here.
Hold on. Is
Oh, yeah. I don't have.
Yeah, here I have silk touch. It's fine. You only lost one.
They see it as like a government takeover, right? By forcing everybody to stay in their homes, like martial law. So to them, they see it as them standing up against that because that's what a lot of the conservative media is portraying it as.
That's sad. It's just really sad. I mean, it's such a gross misrepresentation of what's actually happening. I don't know. It's weird.
It is.
I mean, but in the age of conspiracy theories, who knows what people think is behind all of this.
But if you think about it, it really is their mantra and what they believe that the government should not, even if it is their choice on whether to live or die. Same thing with smoking and drinking, right? Wearing seatbelts. Like the government shouldn't be telling people how to live their lives. If they want to go out and get coronavirus and die, then that's their fucking right. Right? That's their choice.
Well, I will agree there is a philosophical debate to be had there.
But they're missing one key fact. They may not die from it, but someone else around them might.
Exactly. So that's exactly where I was going to go is
correct.
It's not that simple. It's right. I wish it was. I wish it was.
Coronavirus, right? Where it's something that's contagious that you can literally spread to your neighbor, a friend, somebody unintentionally kill them. Right?
Well, and people forget it's the R factor of the virus is above 2, which like people keep wanting to say, oh, this is no different than the flu. No, it's incredibly more contagious than the flu, and the fact there's 2 factors. One of them is how contagious it is. And the other one is, unlike with the previous, like swine flu and some of those others, this one has the unfortunate characteristic of people being contagious long before they even know they're sick. Like, you don't know you're sick for up to like 6 days, but you're contagious the entire time.
Or asymptomatic, right? Which is a new thing that most people don't understand. Right. But there's a lot of conspiracy shit out there. And it's kind of now all falling flat on its face, and I hate repeating myself because I do it all the time. But I keep telling my wife, because I've been saying this for a long time. But I told you so. Like I told her it's going to be bad. I told her what the numbers were going to be like. I told her this is going to be bad. Like you got to accept this as a way of life. And it wasn't until that finally broke through that she was like, okay, I got it. But now they've revised their estimates, so the U.S. is expecting not 60,000 but 157,000 dead.
It's been going up because so the timeline, the original estimate was between 100 and 240,000 people. Then and I mean this people need to think about these numbers. All the shelter in place orders went in. And for a few weeks there, maybe even close to a month, there were really positive signs, like the social distancing was actually working. People were actually taking it seriously. And the model, they revised it to say that they expected, if those measures continue, we'll only lose 60,000 people. And then, over time, they've been gathering anonymized cell phone data. And, these models, people need to give them credit. These are very advanced models that take in a lot of very pertinent data. And they found that people just stopped doing it. Like, people are continuing to gather in large clusters. Now that it's become a politicized issue where a lot of people, if on the certain side of the spectrum, will refuse to wear a mask just because it makes them look like they agree with...
I haven't seen that yet. Not here anyway.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, I guess it's just a thing that's happening. And so then they revised the model. It was 60,000, and then they had to revise it up to 135,000. They revised it again to 140 something thousand, and then I think it was just revised again to show up to 150. So like this fantastic victory over the virus that Trump and Kushner, just really want to continue to make sure everyone knows how amazing of a job they've done.
Well, they need to if they're gonna win the election.
Yeah, I know. It's sad. It's just sad that people don't remember that. Oh wait, no, we could have actually these are all human lives, man. These are tens of thousands of actual human beings. They're not just numbers.
A lot of I'm gonna play the dumb right-wing person. That's a bunch of bullshit. They took her job. No,
it just shouldn't be a political issue. Not
so.
This.
Well, they think that the numbers and the data and the scientists are wrong because a good example is they're saying, oh, so and so had cancer, then they got coronavirus and died, but it really wasn't the coronavirus that killed them; it was cancer. Or another one, the extreme to that argument was, and they say this jokingly on some of the really hard right conservative talk shows I listen to. Someone's driving a car and they were coughing and they had coronavirus and they died in a car accident, but they're going to count that as a coronavirus death. So the numbers are inflated. It's not as bad as they say. Now they're just trying to cover up for their fuck up.
Yeah, the actual reality is that they're likely undercounting cases, but
again, that's the narrative that's being.
No, and I understand, and it's weird. In the age of the internet, you would think we would be a society that was always acting on good information. Like, we have all the facts and information in the world at our fingertips, but it's been perverted so badly by social media and people just making shit up and getting a bunch of people to play. The number of fucking conspiracies that have been started on 4chan by people just dicking around and seeing if they could start a conspiracy and them actually gaining traction. That's alarming. Alarming.
I like the one on 4chan where they did the little hand sign. That means you're a white supremacist. Do you remember that one? It's an upside down butthole sign.
Yeah.
It supposedly means I'm a white supremacist. That shit started on 4chan.
Oh, I know. It's really sad.
So yeah, but the other thing is what is actually legit information. That's where a lot of people have trouble, especially when you spin the narrative that colleges only teach the leftist agenda. When you start out with that method of thinking, there's nothing but downhill from there, because if you discredit the college institution, you're discrediting.
I do think there are some issues for sure in the humanities type of courses. I actually am convinced there is a little bit of validity to the argument that the higher learning institutions, there have been disciplines that they've kind of abandoned good sound science because it's not PC enough. Like some of the actual facts around we'll say like maybe gender studies or some of those types of things, you know, there are some facts there that aren't super comfortable, and those are ignored in a lot of those because it.
But then on the other hand, some of them go too far, right?
Mm-hmm.
They become what's the word I want to look for? PC police, I guess. They're more like they've gone too far to the other side, you know. I mean, it's not, and again, not based on scientific fact. They're just, you know, very passionate about an opinion, where it's an opinion and not fact, right? Like if you just state the facts, like that's one thing, right? Nobody can really hate on you except for religious people for stating the facts,
right?
So
well, yeah, but there are some like really uncomfortable videos to watch. I forget the name of the college, but it was Brett Weinstein, a professor by the name of Brett Weinstein, who is he's liberal, you know, all of this. And I guess students were trying to organize a thing where all the white people stayed home, and they were trying to get everyone to agree, like no white people, you know, only black people are allowed to come on campus today. Like some really misguided plan to like, you know, I don't even know. And he expressed a disagreement with that, you know, saying that is not a constructive way, you know, to work through racial, you know, these sensitive racial issues and everything. And he basically got like stormed by the students. They tried to get him kicked out of the college. There's like countless videos on the insanity that's happened, but that's been part of the problem. Is a lot of students at these universities are basically wielding mob mentality to get professors fired and try to get their lives ruined, just for like maybe slightly disagreeing with some of their complex issues. Like, you know, there should be some people disagreeing and putting up some counterpoints. And
what's funny is I can't remember when it was I was listening to it, but they were talking about how, you know, colleges only push the liberal agenda, blah 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 blah. And then I think the commercial on the break was some Christian university, and I was like, oh, so it's okay if it's a Christian university. Yeah. But if it's not, then it's liberal hypocrisy, and we need to destroy it. They're like, oh, we need to cut, you know, funding, you know, government funding, because we don't, you know, they teach things that are untrue, blah, blah, blah. And then they're like, but come to Christian Colorado College, you know, and it's like, wait, what the fuck? I thought we were gonna take down colleges. Like,
the world is only 6,000 years old.
Yeah. So. But that's the nice thing I like about out here is, you know, Denver, very, very liberal. Colorado Springs, very, very conservative. So I'm sure you've heard of Focus on the Family.
No, I haven't.
That they're the number one sponsor for like non-abortion stuff. Like they try very hard to push non-abortion, you know, pro-life stuff and Christian stuff.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure their agenda. I'm not doing it any justice. Like I'm trying to be,
respectful.
But their headquarters is out here. And there's more Christian universities in Colorado Springs per capita than anywhere else in the world. So it's very interesting. Like, but everyone gets along. They all smoke weed and run outside, and everyone's fucking happy. Like,
that's how it should be.
I don't get it, man. So, but I enjoy it.
Maybe it's the environment, man. I don't know what it is about Phoenix, but
I think a lot of people are outside and they're releasing a lot of their pent up anger.
It's that vitamin D, man. It's like, who knew? Vitamin D. Yeah. It's good for coexisting with other humans.
You need to buy scarves. You need to buy 3 different jackets.
Yeah, man, I'm excited.
Summer, one for the fall, and one for the winter. And you need to keep them all in your car. And I'm not fucking around here. It will literally go from 80 degrees and sunny to snowing to fucking raining to sunny again.
I've heard the old
like,
adage about 4 seasons in one day. I've heard that from almost everyone I've talked to that's lived in Denver.
Yeah. Keep like 3 different jackets in your car. You want to buy an ice scraper, obviously. You know, a snow scraper, ice scraper.
Yeah. I wanted to bring up
all that.
Just before, because I think we're obviously moving on from the coronavirus stuff, but Rasinka made a good point that when we're talking about the numbers that are being reported, I think of a very good point for why people saying that like, oh, we're overcounting, why they're being a little short-sighted. What's not being counted are people that are not able to get health care for a condition because the hospitals are so overwhelmed with coronavirus patients. And there have been a number of those issues that have come up where, there's just not enough room, hospitals are over capacity,
But the coroner will do an autopsy, and they are testing for that stuff.
No,
for sure. Like, I know that for a fact.
No, I'm saying like someone gets in a car accident, or like not even like they might not even have coronavirus. Like people dying for other reasons where they could have lived if they could have gone to the hospital and had a life-saving surgery or whatever. But the hospitals are so over capacity that they have to they can only fit so many people. And
but but is that really an issue anymore?
Well, it will become an issue. They had gotten it under control with all the lockdown orders and the social distancing, and so in a lot of the graphs,
military.
Yeah.
You gotta give credit where the credit's due. Military helped out. They had the USN Mercy and USN whatever.
That's good. That's a positive use of those resources. But yeah, basically one of the big fears is, and why I think another argument in favor of like everybody just banding together as humans and saying, hey, yes, we're willing to go to some extreme measures, for the betterment of other people. There's that simple fact of like hospitals have a finite capacity, and if this thing gets out of control again, there's only so many hospital beds, there's only so many ventilators, and there's some very terrifying charts that show how many people could potentially die just from unrelated illnesses or things just because of that factor.
So something else that we're not considering, and it on my uber conservative talk radio I listen to, they do come up with some good points. You have to see both sides, I think, to give a good argument.
Yeah.
And I'm more of a conservative, but I'm a no Trumper, so that makes me something else. But anyways, the people who work jobs that have now lost their jobs, who have to provide for their families, don't really give a shit. Right.
Yeah.
Like
no doubt, man.
And it's very easy for you and I and anybody else to sit back and say, those motherfucking idiots, blah 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 blah. But if you can't afford to pay your house bills, if you can barely afford to put food on the table, and all you want to do is work hard, and then the response is, well, just sit back and the government's going to send you money, like that's a really, really hard pill to swallow. So I think that a lot of people are just like, I don't care if I die. I would rather die working hard for my family than to sit here and starve to, like Atlas Shrugged style where, everybody's living off of, nothing.
Dude, so, it's a sticky subject, man. It really is. Like you can't.
And I really empathize with those people because
they're struggling. Like they're struggling enough as it is with having a job, and having that taken away from them. And we're talking like 20% of the population. This isn't even Great Recession numbers. This is Great Depression level unemployment that we're reaching. The only silver lining is that with the increases to the unemployment that people are getting. I've actually heard. I think I heard this from some kind of conservative talking head, that a lot of them are mad that now that they've raised it by $600 a week or whatever it was, a lot of people are saying now they don't want to ever go back to work because they're making more from unemployment than they did when they were working full time.
Yeah, so imagine being a business owner now and you can't get fucking employees that want to come to work and risk their lives. You know, making it's hard, but it's very easy to sit back and say those people are being stupid. You know, let's just send them money and they'll be happy. And people are not happy, stuck up in their houses for months on end. And all they want to do is get out there and fucking work. I mean, that really is kind of the American mantra is work. If you work hard, you'll be successful or at least be happy. Can you break that? So
here, I'm going to throw this.
It's tough. I mean, I really empathize with those people.
Yeah.
I just wish that we had a more unified response. You know, we should have said a long time ago, hey, you know, people in bumfuck, whatever, you know, North Dakota, you're probably not going to suffer as much. So we think that since you guys are already spread out, just practice these 3 things, right? Social distancing, wear a mask, don't go out unless you absolutely need to, right? Try to telework, right? Those aren't hard things to do. But I think it's very sad that, you know, we've said everybody needs to be locked in at their house.
Actually, that hasn't actually been said. So that's part of the interesting thing is people are kind of making the situation out to be something that it's not. And if you looked at the phased reopening plans, this is where I really respect Dr. Fauci. Like, I think we are very, very lucky to have someone like him.
So, I don't think I told you, but my wife ordered a T-shirt that says "I love Dr. Fauci."
Oh, really?
I heart Dr. Fauci.
Well, dude, the dude he's fucking humble too, and I mean, like he's quick to remind people that he doesn't know everything about this virus. And, you know, he doesn't proclaim to know everything. He's just using the data he has to try to give the best advice he can for how to stem the tide. He
doesn't get baited. I don't know if you saw the thing with him and Rand Paul.
I did.
But he
Fuck
didn't
Rand
fucking
Paul,
give him
man.
an inch.
Fuck Rand Paul for being such a dick like that. Ugh.
Right, but did you see Fauci? He didn't bite into the political...
Yeah, no, he even said, like, I want to address that. And he's like, I don't proclaim to know everything about anything. And he said, and I think he said something like, you know, I like to think I'm humble enough, you know, to know. What's that?
Look at your phone. I sent you a picture.
Gotcha. I heard that. That's awesome. That's so cool, man.
It's my wife with a shirt that says "I heart," really big heart, Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, and yeah, Russink, I agree. We don't even need to start getting into what Trump could have done better. But God. Jesus Christ, if that dude could just learn to just listen to the experts, like from the start, instead of like just responding to things the way that he thinks Fox and Friends would like him to respond to things. You know, we might not have gotten into quite as bad of a situation.
Idiot. But we don't need to get on the Trump bandwagon. I mean, we all kind of share the same opinion. But I'm gonna go ahead and slam multiple people in the government and say they should have at least put out. I mean, I understand that. Like, if I was a conservative and I was a president, I would have said, "All right, we know what this is gonna do. We know how this is gonna work. So each state is gonna, you know, assess when they need to open things, and you know, at a time. Here's what we recommend, right? Do these things, and we don't think they should be universal across the state." But the thing is that came like a couple weeks ago. It's fucking May. This shit was happening in December of last year.
Oh, I know. It was just we were far too late in like getting our shit together.
So don't we have like an intelligence agency like Jason Bourne? Americans can, you know.
I mean, you remember
the spy agencies
No, but you remember who's the guy that was fired, the whistleblower that was fired for he was trying to tell them.
Dr. Bright.
Yeah,
Dr. Bright.
He was. I mean, you literally. What do you do in that situation where you do have these intelligence agencies and you do have people that are in front of this stuff? They know how bad it's going to be, and they go and they try to warn all these elected officials, and they get fucking fired for it.
Well, he got fired not for that. He got fired because he wouldn't back hydrochloroquine. He said that
even worse.
No, what's even worse is that the fucking guy's name is Dr. Bright. Like,
yeah. Fair enough. That
says it all. Like, you're like, no, you know what you're talking about, Dr. Bright. Like, wait a minute, what? Like, his name kind of says it all.
Yeah,
So he was
the so-called expert that Fox News brought on to tout the 100% success rate of hydrochloroquine. That's why I view Fox News as a dangerous propaganda machine, because like they'll fucking put whatever they need to put out there to serve the agenda, They
all will. They all do, man.
To some degree. But
I think NPR is the only one.
There are
very middle of the road.
Yeah. No, I agree. They all do. Every news agency is guilty of reading a thing on Twitter and reporting on it as if it's actual news without actually, like, pulling proper sources
pushing
together.
Their own political agenda. But
one of those is a propaganda machine for our president.
Right. Well, I mean, it depends who the president is, right? Because other times it's CNN for, someone who's left.
Well, I will say, when Obama was president and I read CNN, they had plenty of pieces on there criticizing Obama. I mean, probably most of the editors there liked him, but I remember reading many, many opinion pieces criticizing him. Which
I did appreciate. He was not my favorite president. He did a lot of dumb things, in my opinion, but he was a good person. I think he was a great man. He did the best he could. I mean, he really wasn't that bad. I mean, I really wish he would have done a better job. I wish he would have done things differently. But as far as, integrity goes, I don't think he had a single investigation under his watch.
Yeah.
Other than the whole, well, there was a couple. There was the gun running thing, the Fast and Furious, and then the Hillary Clinton email server.
But you just get the sense, like, he was clearly not a corrupt dude.
Yeah, and his wife was kind of like, I mean, they were just kind of good, outstanding people, like, the kind of people you want to stand up there and say something positive, right?
Yeah.
And
Rasinka,
you can't say that about a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I agree. Well, Rasinka brought up another good point, and I'll lump these two. She mentioned the people with lupus that can't get their medication because of Trump's incessant touting of this thing that, and you don't hear about it anymore. Hydrochloroquine.
Well, that's because it was killing people.
Well, right. It was funny that Trump was going around every fucking 2 seconds talking about how everyone we have a cure, it's hydrochloroquine, and God, I shudder listening to those.
Did you hear about the guy in Phoenix who had oxychloroquine? I think it was oxychloroquine.
Yeah.
And he took that thinking it was the same, where the stuff that he took was actually to clean his fish tank, and it ended up killing him.
God. Well, it's not just that. So we have our president, complete idiot, going around because he saw a segment on Fox News with some quack doctor. Oh, and by the way, the doctor that went on there touting its success rate, he wasn't even a doctor, and the organization that he said he worked for had never even fucking heard of him. So anyways, like, we know now, we have enough evidence now to know that it was absolutely not effective in any way, and that's why you don't hear anybody talking about it anymore, but the damage was done. But you have that, and then you have the other instances of him wondering aloud about whether we should put UV lights inside of our bodies and ingest disinfectants. And reportedly, after that happened, there was a spike in calls to the Poison Control Center from people ingesting disinfectants because they listened to our wonderfully brilliant, super genius president.
I think if you believe, no matter who the president is, or your prime minister or elected official, and they say to take Tide Pods and wash it down with some Clorox, and you believe them, you should do it. 100%. I stand behind you.
That's fine.
Chug away, motherfucker. I will go
Not
buy
if,
you the Tide Pods.
I mean, if you're a young kid, though, no.
Well, how young?
I don't know.
Yeah, that's pretty fucked
Depends
up
on the
question,
parents.
but I'm out of blue ice, by the way.
Oh, you're completely out?
Depends on the
Is there more
parents.
back here, or did you only take a few stacks?
I took everything that was in.
Oh, sweet. God damn. See, this is nice. This is a perfect activity to do while we're catching up on shit.
Jabbering. So something else cool happened today. Another reason why, maybe this is a sign. So something happened today that I've only seen maybe happen twice in my lifetime, and I will send you a picture of.
Okay, I'm curious.
Yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I forget where the picture button is. There it is. All right, it is coming your way right now. You should get it here any second. Make sure you blow it up so you can see the...
Rosinka says, that's the funniest bit about this. All the boomers making fun of the Tide Pod craze, Gen Z. To be fair, those kids deserve to be made fun of. Oh my god, that Tide Pod shit. I've had, a double rainbow. Oh my god. It's beautiful.
Yeah, it was a double rainbow. But if you look, you can actually see blue and purple in the rainbow.
Yeah, I can see it.
And it actually went from horizon to horizon, both of them. So there were two full double rainbows where you could actually see blue and purple in the rainbow. Like people were standing outside like Costco taking pictures. It was absolutely the coolest thing.
Just gonna put the last of these buttons.
It was a sign. It was a fucking sign that there were great things to come.
Hell yeah, man. Yep. Yeah, I don't know, Rosinka. I have mixed thoughts on Gen Z. I'm just going to say, I don't think they're going to be any worse than any of the other generations. I'm not going to fall into that trap of,
But, I mean, really, like, eating Tide Pods, I mean, some of the shit that I did growing up, I'm really lucky to be alive.
But, yeah, I do think, like, growing up, like, from a young child in the age of, not just the internet, but the age of social media... I think has maybe greatly hampered certain people's development. Like, their cognitive capabilities are maybe not quite where they should be.
I don't know, so...
I don't know how to say that the right way.
I'll give you a good example of some dumb shit I did growing up. Like, if you think Tide Pod, yeah, that's pretty fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I found an old shotgun shell, and I took out all of the lead and the gunpowder, but had the primer. And I thought it would be really cool to see how much of a pop it would make if I took a hammer and a nail and hit the primer.
Pretty dumb.
So it all comes apart. I ripped it all apart, cut it apart, put the primer on the countertop, and then took the nail, put it on the striking section of the primer, and then hit it with a hammer.
Yeah, that sounds very brilliant.
The hammer went through the ceiling.
Wow.
And we couldn't find the nail, and I have a permanent... Oh, I went the wrong way.
No, this is where we want to be. This is right.
Do we have any more blue ice?
No, but we have all the other materials. So now we're going to go to the end of the tunnel, or actually right here, and let's continue on with these others. Just keep going until we're out of everything.
And I now have a permanent scar on my hand, 20-something years later, from that stupid mistake. So, there, people are. We all do dumb shit when we're kids.
Yeah. That's why I'm saying I preface all of this with I am not claiming that they are any worse than any other generation. I think that's like every generation says that about the generation after. I'm just criticizing the areas where they're not. Yeah, that's a good point, Rosinka. Kids at least have the excuse of being young and stupid. But none of us recorded the dumb, stupid shit we did and put it on the internet. And like, there's some there's some horrendous things that I've seen and heard of happening just because people wanted to like make a viral video, or like there's one that I had that it haunts me that I saw this, and I really regret that I saw it. I think it was posted on Radar Online. There's this footage of like, you know, this guy and his girlfriend are driving in a car, and they're trying to like, you know, make a funny video, a cool video that they're going to put on YouTube or wherever. And so the idea is, she takes her shirt, I think she has all of her clothes off, and she's in the passenger seat, and she's sticking out of the window, like sticking her head out and everything. And they're driving down like a freeway or a road at very high speeds, and he's filming her while he's driving, and he drives a little too close to a street sign, and it fucking smacks her, and she dies instantly. She died instantly, and I actually saw the video, and dude, it's fucking horrifying. It's such a horrifying thing to, I don't know, I'm not one for like witnessing humans dying, but man, just for preventable deaths like that, or the one where the guy made a YouTube video where he was going to hold a phone book in front of his chest and have his girlfriend fire a revolver and stop the bullet, and she fucking shot him dead. You know, of course the bullet goes right through and pierces his heart and he dies.
That actually, I'm actually very surprised about that, because the phone book should have stopped it. Believe it or not.
Well, it didn't.
Well, that's unfortunate, but we actually use phone books.
Well, she did it at point blank range.
That might be more of a problem, but we had trucks that we put phone books in to stop rifle round.
Well, yeah. I mean, no doubt, you know, it's going to help, especially, you know, if it's not point blank, and you know the velocity of the bullet is, you know, below a certain amount. But you know, there's just so many of those videos, the Tide Pod challenge, and it's just like, my kids are obviously going to be growing up in this world, and I do fear that because of the incessant search for likes and to be popular and to go viral and to be a social media, you know, darling or whatever, I feel like, and I think there's some real evidence to back this one up, it has ushered in a brand new age of narcissism, the likes of which we have never fucking seen before.
It reminds me of that episode of Black Mirror, the social media one.
Yeah, with the points. The one with Bryce Dallas. It's Nosedive is the name of that episode. Great episode. Great episode.
My favorite episode.
It's probably my favorite too. It's such a good episode.
Like, I love the ending. I love that she just finally fucking cuts loose. And I love that like this wise old wizard lady in the truck is just like, have a bottle of whiskey, you know, like fucking let go, you know. So whenever I don't think we've actually drank lately, but sometimes when I toast, I'll say nosedive, and I'll drink, because I mean that's really what it is, right? You're just, you know, fuck everyone, like.
Rosinka says, I don't know, man. People used to sit around for fucking days to get their portraits done. Yeah. At least you weren't getting hurt and shot in the chest.
But we were. I mean, we were dueling in streets. Remember duels and fucking cowboys and Indians and shit?
Well.
I mean, it really is different. It's just fucking... I don't want to say it's Darwin's, you know... Because it's not Darwin. It's almost like... I know what I want to call it. Idiocracy.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, that's a good way to frame the bigger issue that I'm afraid of, and that I'm trying my damnedest to raise my kids to properly be able to parse out what's true and what's untrue. And that's really the challenge of it, is in the age of like social media and just information overload. Like anything you want, oh, there's information about it, and a lot of it is fucking wrong and bullshit. But how do you develop the skills to know bullshit when you see it and to know truth when you see it, and to be able to parse out like, oh, this is just someone putting out propaganda and it's demonstrably false, and oh, this is maybe a good stance to take on an issue because there's actual like good valid science backing it up.
We have those things. We just don't teach it until college. Philosophy, ethics, critical thinking, like scientific theory.
Well, the scientific method, like, I feel like, does anybody know what that is anymore?
So I think a lot of people do. It's just the dumb people who are more in for social media ratings don't care.
Well,
they don't get views. Except for like. Sorry, go ahead.
Well,
I was going to say except for.
Go ahead. No,
whatchamacallit. Those guys that blow shit up and they test shit out.
I don't know what
they had a show on.
Oh, Mythbusters.
Mythbusters, yeah, like that's scientific theory. That's critical thinking. That's we don't teach ethics or logic reasoning. Like you don't learn that stuff anymore. Like the 9 different arguments or fallacy arguments, like the straw man, the red herring. We don't teach that stuff anymore.
Well, it goes beyond that for me, and this is why, like, I wouldn't even say people that believe that stuff are necessarily stupid. I think because when you really dig into what people get into and you actually watch some of it, like, think about some of these conspiracy theories. Let's ignore the whole 5G causing coronavirus, because that's just a little much.
That's my favorite new one.
No, but there have been like one of the big conspiracy theories. Well, the vaccines causing autism is one, but people have claimed or are trying to claim that 5G is going to make us all sick because it's going to tear through our DNA. And then you have these pseudo professional, pseudo doctor people with all of these conspiracies that use their own anecdotal evidence. They'll get up there and they'll say, yes, this is true in my experience. I've seen 90% of people that lived near a cell tower developed some form of leukemia or whatever. Just you kind of know what I'm saying, right? You hear that's how a lot of these things gain traction is they get an expert on there.
Please explain it to me.
Explaining it to others for the benefit of understanding where I'm going with all of this. But all of these they get an expert on, and I've listened to some of it, and it's even gotten me like, whoa, really? Like, shit. I might actually believe some of this. Like, man, is it really true that anyone living near cell towers is getting cancer? And like, how is this not being noticed? And
my mom actually asked me about the 5G thing. She thought it was real.
Well, so if you, fortunately, I, decided, well, I want to check some other sources, and I researched it, and I researched the evidence like for and against. And there's not a shred of evidence to back up any of those claims people are making. And if you actually know the science behind it, it's not even possible. 5G is worse at penetrating surfaces than 4G, and it's worse. And 4G was worse than 3G because the way radioactive shit works and the way wavelengths work. The wavelengths need to be a certain size to be able to penetrate and tear apart our DNA and give us cancer and all that kind of shit. And what people don't realize is there's not enough. A, the wavelengths aren't right, and B, the power in those waves. It's not possible.
And then the people who are on their favorite talk shows spout something that's not true.
Right. Well, and so what ends up happening is you have these. That the correlation does not mean causation. People are so bad at recognizing when things are simply correlated. Like, you could also say, well, 100% of people that get cancer drank water the day they got diagnosed with cancer. And, so it's like when these experts come up, they fail to mention, oh, well, yeah, actually, no, this study came from this community, and oh, they found that the groundwater was tainted and they were all drinking lead their entire lives.
Like, this guy's like, 5G causes cancer. I have all this data. Everyone that lives near a cell phone tower in Flint, Michigan has gotten cancer. It must be the 5G.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, so what I fear is, because like that shit's always been around, right? But that shit has a megaphone now. Like, because of the way these algorithms work and everything, you go on YouTube, you go on Facebook, and I mean, they have to actively fight to suppress that shit because people bounce it back and forth and they amplify it. And before you know it, something that nobody would take seriously, like flat Earth, suddenly becomes this global phenomenon that has millions of people believing it.
You gotta let it work itself out. I honestly believe it's gonna be painful and it's not gonna happen in our lifetime. But we are moving towards an age where eventually that stuff will get filtered out and suppressed. Like, you will have legit scientific sources.
Yeah.
You will have, but you gotta have faith.
Well, I mean, I do think a part of that is the tech companies do have a responsibility to fucking nuke that shit from orbit.
Nope, don't agree. I think that you want to post it, you should fucking post it.
Yeah.
Freedom of speech.
Freedom of speech. Sure, they can go say it. They don't. Nobody has to give them the freedom to like let that message get out to millions of people on a platform that they're making money off of. And when you go on those platforms, you sign their terms of service, and nobody's stopping them from going out on the streets and shouting this stuff.
So that goes back to Aeropodagitica, right? I've talked about that one before. It's a book. It was an oral argument heard with hang on, Milton.
Oh God, yeah, Rasinka. Dr. Oz can go fuck himself. Dr. Oz is the worst sellout of a doctor I have ever fucking seen.
So, Aeropodagitica was John Milton, who actually helped write a lot of our. Well, he didn't help write, but he gave rise to a lot of our constitutional amendments and our Bill of Rights. Basically, he was protesting Parliament's law on regulation on writing and printing, which is identical to what you were saying, right? And what his argument before Parliament was, and he did win, was that if you suppress this conversation, you could suppress something that may be useful. It may be true. One time we suppressed the, right for women's rights, for, to abolish slavery. Like, if we don't have those civil conversations and you start shutting people out from dangerous speech, you no longer have discourse, or you no longer have a discussion. You have this one-sided echo chamber, and you never know, and there's no way to, number one, identify who the idiots are, but number two, maybe find fault in their reasoning, point out the fault in their reasoning. Maybe they come up with better reasoning.
Well, this is where it gets sticky. Vaccines causing autism. That is a real world example of a very fucking false and very fucking dangerous assertion that has no backing of any valid science. You've had people for literal decades now screaming at the top of their lungs, like disproving it over and over and over. And yet, because the propaganda is so strong and the mob mentality, just that massive group of people, and I mean, that's a real problem that they're trying to change the legislation. And I don't know. I do think there are examples of things that can get so far out of control. I think it's, sometimes it is worth.
So I pulled up the one of the famous quotes from Areopagitica by Milton. And I'm going to read it real quick. Its basic principle was the right and also the duty of every intelligent man as a rational being to know the grounds and take responsibility for his beliefs and actions. Its corollary was a society and a state in which decisions are reached by open discussion, in which the sources of information are not contaminated by authority in the interest of party, and in which political unity is secured not by force, but by consensus that respects a variety of opinion.
Yeah, we used to not be so crazy with the mob mentality behind partisan politics, and now that everything is political, everything's been perverted.
It's not a majority. Not everyone believes one side of, not everything that, the president says or that Biden says is 100% accurate, or the gospel, right? We listen to what they have to say. We call bullshit where it needs to be called bullshit, but I don't think this mob mentality is as bad as you think it is. I think it's only as bad because it makes great headlines, but I really don't think it's that bad.
I think it is, and I think, again, I just feel like there's a deterioration of people's capacity for parsing out the truth in a very complicated world where you have very, very convincing people. And I don't think there's anything wrong with these private companies. Social media, when all this stuff was written in the Constitution, there wasn't this concept of social media. I don't think they ever fathomed a world where some fucking yokel in the middle of nowhere could literally, make the most absurd shit up and, have millions upon millions of people able to, digest all of it. I think it would have been easier to say back then, like, oh, some shit's just so crazy nobody would ever believe it.
They had Mormons. Mormons were pretty crazy to them. Yeah, no, I'm serious. Well, imagine this religion that just. I like Mormons, but
I'm not a fan.
Can you imagine what they must have thought? Right.
Yeah.
I really don't like censoring any conversation. I definitely want to know if you're a Westboro Baptist Church supporter. Again, I definitely want to know that.
If the government has a government-run social media, I agree with you. These are private companies. This is Facebook. They make money off of all these users' data, and I think they have every right to do what they want, and people can go to a different platform if they want. Or just don't use social media, because social media is fucking a cancer and it sucks.
So, I do know that there's a new I don't even know what you'd call this conservative movement anymore, but they have a conservative platform now because a bunch of people are getting kicked off of Reddit, so now they're moving to, or is it Facebook? Someone's censoring their stuff. It was Facebook. So now was it Waifu? It's called Waifu.
I have no idea.
Where it's kind of like a big platform for crazy ideas to kind of like the InfoWars for social media.
God, InfoWars.
But the problem is if you're allowing everyone to express whatever it is they want to do, but you want to police certain things, you start dipping into a fucking slippery slope, man.
Well, let's go back to the Parkland shootings. Crisis actors. I don't know. I think some lines have to be drawn somewhere. When someone's freedom of speech results in the parents of murdered children being harassed over and over and people calling and accusing them of fake, That's
Oof.
fucking horrific, man. That's horrific. And that's
You're
where
gonna hate me for saying this,
and Rusinka, by the way, she says she sees both sides of it. So I think that's always a good sign that there's a good argument here. Is when
one thing,
yeah.
If you start saying this thing is right and this thing is wrong, with it, especially concerning speech, man, that's hard, because if especially things like Facebook and Twitter and Reddit, like if you can't express what your opinion is, then what's the fucking point?
Well, let's take the rules that have always been. There have always been restrictions on speech. There is no true ultimate freedom of speech. You are not allowed to, and you never have been allowed to, go into a crowded place and scream fire when there's no fire, causing a panic. There have always been provisions that protect the greater public from speech that could cause real direct harm. And I would say Alex Jones's fucking Parkland shooting bullshit falls in that category. And that's why he's being sued and...
Right, but that's the vehicle by which you do it.
Yeah.
You don't shut him down. You don't silence him. If he does indeed cause harm on you, then there's a vehicle for that. It's called the courts. But shutting somebody down is policing them. When it comes to freedom of speech, everything should be allowed, as long as it's not like fire or bomb or active shooter or anything like that. I think everything should be allowed. But the social consequences are yours to pay, right? So if you want to go out there and be a fucking racist, be a fucking racist. But if you lose your job and your wife fucking leaves you and you're no longer invited to your neighbor's house for picnics, don't be fucking surprised. But I think that
it's a very nuanced issue.
See, and for me, it's kind of clear cut. Like, don't fuck with somebody's right to say what they want to say. If they get punched in the mouth, then
Well, and I don't think any private company should be compelled to. They have full freedom to police their platform as much as they want.
It's a hard line, right? Especially when you're like, you can come be yourself, post whatever you want. But don't post about this. This we don't allow. Like, obviously, things like child pornography, like, you draw the line somewhere, right?
That's what I'm trying to say is we all have to agree that there are limits one way or another.
But there's physical harm being done there, right? And obviously there's laws against it. And the interesting thing about that, I studied law. I enjoy it a lot. Is a lot of people are on board with that whole like, yeah, you get into child pornography, you're gonna have to go to the fucking electric chair. Like, it's pretty cut and dry with that one, which is very interesting to me. There's some things that the motherfuck. Oh, we're being shot at. I think it's very interesting that we can draw the lines on some things, other things we can't. I think it's very fascinating. But, do you mind if we quick change subject slightly?
Yeah, I'm done with that.
Okay. Yeah, getting the whole Parkland thing, like, it always gets me heebie-jeebies. I don't like.
You have, but it's a very important example to use because
it is. But I wrote a 39-page paper on it as a thesis, not really a thesis, but like a term paper in criminology, and it's rough. So I did it on the Newtown shootings. So it's a tough one.
Yeah, when someone's speech harms someone else, that's when you really got to look closely at.
It's hard, and I also took philosophy, which is the other hard part, right? So you got this one where you're like, these people are horrible, lock them up, fucking kill them, right? And this other one where you're learning philosophy, and you're just like, why is my mind being destroyed? So quick change of subject. I, in my nerdy ways, was working from home and I listened to the entire Supreme Court debate regarding, it was 3.5 hours long, I think. The one about Trump's tax returns and the other one about the faithless electors in Colorado and Washington.
I don't know.
Have you heard
any
about
of that?
Okay, then let me enlighten you.
Oh boy.
So the faithless electors one is very interesting. Washington and Colorado, you have two of the electors for the Electoral College who cast a vote for somebody who people did not vote
I
for.
hate that fucking antiquated system. Why does it even exist? But go on.
Well, I think it has some discussion points, but there are laws that say if you don't vote the way that people vote, you can be fined and immediately terminated from your position. Like there's these what they call faithless elector laws, and it's made it all the way up to the Supreme Court on whether or not there should be fines or penalties for faithless electors.
I was under the impression that the Electoral College was intentionally made that way to basically as a little backdoor to if this country got so stupid that they elected the biggest idiot in the world, you'd have the Electoral College that would have the power to reverse that.
That's the argument. That is the argument.
Yeah.
Before the Supreme Court was that the people in Colorado, the electors at the time in Colorado, Washington, both the guy in Washington got fined and replaced, and the guy in Colorado was immediately replaced when they wouldn't vote for someone who the people had voted for. So they're arguing that it went against the founders' original, ideas of, the Electoral College when, by making these faithless elector laws. So, like I said, it was 3.5 hours long, but I think the Supreme Court is going to decide pretty one-sided that faithless elector laws are legit, and that without some sort of system by which the people make a vote, but that vote can be circumvented by these electors. So now you have a group of, specialty people who literally have the power to veto an entire state's opinion.
I think why can't we go straight to the source and just say abolish the Electoral College, popular vote? That's the way it should be.
The reason I don't agree, and the reason being is because
there's no reason not to agree.
Oh yeah.
Why should we? Under what scenario should a president ever be elected when they do not receive the majority of the votes?
Well, I'm glad you asked. Let me explain.
To protect the Hicks in the South from...
Yeah, the Hicks in the House that also, do all the farming.
I don't understand why they should have an outsized voice. Why their vote should count more than others. That's fucking bullshit.
Like who? Like California?
No, I'm saying individual people's their individual votes are technically worth more than the people's votes in California. Because of the way the Electoral College works and everything.
Right, and I think for good reason, because if you had just had the Electoral College, if you just had the popular vote, then people who live in, as you said, Hicktown, Iowa or wherever, right, who do have a certain set of beliefs, they're uber Christian, they're pro-Trump, whatever, they have their way of thinking and they don't like the candidate. There would be no reason on the planet to listen or to give them any credence or to make any promises or to visit them in any election, because everyone would spend their time in California and New York. Because with those two states alone,
I disagree.
You would win half the country. But those two states if those two states would count for half the votes, or for the votes in half the country, why should they have to make the decisions on who and how the country is being led? I'll give you a perfect example. Like the battleground states right now are Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, and Michigan. So a lot of money, a lot of time, and a lot of effort is being put into those states. They would never, ever, ever be visited by any fucking president in the future, ever, because there isn't anyone who lives in Wisconsin, Michigan, or Pennsylvania compared to states like California, New York, Maryland, like some of these big states have huge populaces that are metropolises who do have one way
I don't know.
of thinking.
I just disagree. Like, it's a federal election, right?
Yeah.
States don't even matter at that point. This is something that affects everybody. I think every single person should have the exact same weight to their vote. I don't see why some people it just doesn't make any sense to me.
What about the people in Alaska who work in oil fields, right? Who have a shit fucking job, who have a shit fucking.
Well, don't forget they have all their local elections, and that's what's going to affect their lives on a day-to-day basis far more than what happens at the federal level. I don't know. I just disagree just from a mathematical standpoint, and from I don't like the idea of my vote having more or less weight because of where I live.
You also have to understand
I'm a big fan of equality.
But some states just don't have lots of people, but they have tons of natural resources that we depend on. So why shouldn't they have an equivalent voice to, or at least a partial voice to those in California?
I don't know. I think you're making it out to be far more than it really is. The way the Electoral College works, I mean, it's not perfect, but it is already kind of set up proportionally. I don't think it would drastically change anything if they got rid of it. California already has, by far, the most number of electoral votes. And a lot of those states, a lot of those other states hardly have any. And yet none of this that you're claiming would happen actually happens. Like, those states are still visited. The ones with hardly any votes are visited far less than others. Getting rid of the Electoral College is not going to change any of that. It's just going to make sure that the person...
Okay, but going back to what you're saying about the math, right? If the math is what what you're arguing is what you're arguing.
I know where you're going to go with it, and I already have my perfect rebuttal ready.
Go ahead.
This is what's been happening with the Republicans have stopped being able to win the popular vote. They can only win through electoral fuckery, and a perfect example of that is in a bunch of other states. And granted, there's different rules for states, but in a lot of states, it's winner takes all. So you could win with 50.0001% of the vote and get all of the electoral votes for that state. So you could go, and that's what happened in the last election. You have these places where it was razor fucking thin. And, you're winning by these tiny percentages, but because of the way the Electoral College math works, they get all of those fucking delegates. So even though it was almost a 50-50 split, all of those votes go towards the other people. And now the other person crushes it, like absolutely crushes it in a bunch of these other states. And that's not how electoral votes should be divvied up. It's fucking wrong. Why when it's that close and it's 50-50, why should the winner get every single one of those? Why can't they just get the proportion of electoral votes that's the same proportion they got to the actual voting public?
Do you think it would be fair though to say that California, which is one side leans more one side than the other, has the equivalent of 15 states' population?
Dude, but think about it. If they were to switch it to, they divvy up the electoral votes, Republicans would actually get delegates from Colorado. They would actually, it's not like 0% of the people are Republican. We're talking about in every state, in the deepest red states, you still might have 30% of the population that are Democrat. And then in states like California, you're going to have I bet at least 30 to 40% of the population, somewhere in the 30-40% range, is Republican. And so by making that change, you actually turn all of those states, their votes actually start to matter. Like right now, Republicans' votes don't fucking matter in California. And Democrat votes like mine would not fucking matter in Texas. I vote for a system where our votes matter regardless of where we live.
Texas is actually pretty close this election, believe it or not.
Well, they're starting to get close to being a swing state. But
Right.
that's kind of, I guess, my core issue with the Electoral College is this notion of a winner take all, and the fact that, and you've seen it happen now in 2 elections where Trump lost by millions of votes, millions. And there were lots and lots of states where he was absolutely crushed. But he also had enough states where it was so razor thin, and because of the way, winner take all, even when it's that thin, that you get this tilted advantage just based on this like fucked up strategy, And of course they play the strategy to make sure it works out that way.
So imagine you are living in Wisconsin and the current president is President Trump, right? Yeah. And he was coming up for re-election, okay?
Yeah.
Where do you think in the 4 years or however many years that he's in office, where do you think he's going to spend all of his time and all of his money, and who do you think he's going to try to give the most benefits
to?
At
Mars-a-Lago.
Yeah. Well, okay, maybe that was a bad example. President whomever, right? The problem is when it was the states that are already heavily populated.
Oh, hey, Sky God. Hello.
Will see all of the benefits, and the states that are smaller, who in Electoral College have more political, they got more clout. They would see at least some love.
I'm just saying it's no different to how it is now. Like we already have a situation where states are completely ignored because they don't have enough electoral votes. If we can't abolish the Electoral College, I think you have failed to make an argument to me why this whole winner takes all system is the way it should be. I think you solve so much by simply saying.
But the winner takes all is a per state thing.
It's no, but that's not the case in all states. In some states,
right? But that's a state choice. That was designed by the founders. It was up to the states to decide how they wanted to do that out.
I'm saying it's an unfair system. It's unfair.
But not every state is like that.
Well, every state should give away. The delegates should be done proportional to the popular vote in that state. So if someone wins 60% to 40%, what's that?
But that's not getting
right. But it's about as close to it as you can get without getting rid of it. Because if you start going by true proportions, then the Electoral College mathematically is like it is a very close reflection, a very close approximation of what the actual popular vote was. If you win 60-40, you get 60% of the delegates, they get 40%, and you go on to the next state.
I like that a little bit better. I still like the idea of having the Electoral College where the numbers are more squished down, so the relative win versus loss in each state isn't as extreme, you know what I mean? It's just hard because the framers had already said, like, it's up to the states. So, I mean, you could never pass a federal law
to do so. I know. I mean, I'm not saying... I'm just saying...
It is a good idea.
Fuck the Electoral College. I don't know.
It is. I like that idea, and there are states that do it, but I
think everyone's vote should be heard, and I think it should work out differently. If you win by 90% in one state, that should net you more votes than if you win by 50.1% in another state. Like it's an unfair.
I agree. I think that would be a good way to do it. Is if you rather than the winner takes all, like, someone had 50.00001% of the vote, they get everybody's vote. I like that idea a little bit better, but it's not getting rid of the Electoral College. It's getting rid of the winner takes all rule, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I wouldn't agree with that. I think that is kind of BS. So I will meet with you halfway there, sir.
I appreciate that. I mean, I get what you're saying, and it is baked into our Constitution. That part of the whole idea behind our country is supposed to be protecting the minority from the potential tyranny of the majority. And
Not
I think
tyranny, but
I
don't want to play
yeah.
favorites, right? Like again, this election, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania are going to be the ones that everyone's going to be focused on. Where in a popular vote scenario,
Right.
nobody would give a shit about.
Well, and I'm getting kind of tired of it too. I mean, because of this whole thing, like it's always the same fucking states that get all the attention.
Arizona actually might be one of those states. So I think it's like within 3 percentage points right now. I think Martha McSally is in the lead over what's her face? Oh shit, I can't remember her name. Not Gifford. I forget who the Republican is, but
Martha
it might
McSally
actually
is the Republican.
But then, again, this work, then that would work out in your favor, right? Where, you would have all these political candidates coming and trying to, do all these great things for the state. And, they're pushing funding for Arizona because they want to get your vote, right? But in a popular vote scenario, they wouldn't give two fucks about you. So, yeah. So, anyways, that was one interesting case that I heard, and basically, even the liberals on the Ginsburg even said like, this would just be absolute chaos if we allowed this to go through, right? If we just said, you can vote, the electors could vote for whoever they want. So, that one is probably not going to work out too well. The other case that I listened to, another 3.5 hour court case, was the tax returns. That one was actually really interesting.
Yeah, I don't really know what exactly that one was all about.
So basically, the Democrat House was trying to get the president's tax returns, and they said it was for purposes. Oh, motherfuckers! It was for purposes of passing a law. They wanted to pass a law. Did you leave this open on purpose right here?
No, I haven't left anything open on purpose.
It was the only way they could do request his tax returns is if it was in the interest of trying to pass a law. So they're basically trying to pass this law that says we want to view every president's tax returns. So we want to view this president's tax returns, and here's the reason why we want to make it a law is because he won't do it, right?
I do think at a certain level, above a certain level, I guess, public officials should be required to release that kind of. It should just be. That's what they're
trying to pass, right?
Yeah.
So in order to pass it, they were trying to say, "Hey, we want to view this." For legislative purposes, right? So they had to look at whether or not the House had, what they call standing, whether they actually had a right to be in court and to request these things. And it did not sound like the House had a good enough argument to request those things. Now, at the same time, case number 2, they kind of combined 2 cases in one afternoon. Was the state of New York, the district attorney was trying to get the same tax returns, and the request was written exactly the same as the House request. So, the attorney for the president basically saying he is immune from all investigation while he's sitting president. He can't be indicted, he can't be charged, he can't be convicted. Then the question. What's that?
Christ. That sounds a little crazy.
It is. It's 100% accurate, though. He can never be charged with a federal crime. He can never be prosecuted.
That needs to be changed.
No, it works out. So the only recourse the government has is to impeach, right?
That literally means that he could go murder someone.
That's exactly correct.
So that's bullshit. That shouldn't be the case. I think that's wrong.
In fact, he did say that.
And I said that because he said that.
He says I could kill someone and nobody would care. But the problem is when you're head of so you are the federal government, and that was an interesting point that I'm trying to remember the justices said. I want to say Clarence Thomas said it, that the federal government is the president. He is by definition a one-person government, right? Where he is 1/3 of the U.S. of the U.S. government. The judge, then you've got the courts, and then you've got the Congress.
Okay.
But he is that representative body. So you can't the head of that representative body can't be charged by that body. Does that make sense?
Maybe.
You can't be charged with the organization that you run. Oh, I don't have any arrows to shoot back. I had my bow out ready to shoot. I don't have any fucking arrows.
I need to get some glass. I think I'm gonna need to take a break from the stone part because I'm afraid I'm gonna get knocked off by one of these.
Here's the glass. Go. It's right here in front of you.
Hold
on. But it was really interesting. The district attorney from New York was the one trying to bring the case, and the question was, well, if we let every district attorney in the country be able to, review these records, right? It could impede on his ability to govern, right? And then the argument was, well, it doesn't. He's not being impeded by it because it's actually not a request to him; it's a request to his banks. And I can't remember who the judge was that says, but yeah, you can't really expect them to just be like, "Oh, I'm under investigation. I have nothing to think about or worry about," right? Yeah. So they do have some. I mean, it could impede them from being able to do their job under Title II, which is the authority of the president. So that was the big question: is whether or not there's impedance on him. And the New York and the House are saying there's no, this isn't a request to him, it's to his banks. And the rebuttal from the justices was, well, you can't expect him to just not think about it, right? I mean, he could be impeached and imprisoned, right? It's not something you just kind of like, oh, I got nothing to worry about. But the big argument from the White House is that 2,400 district attorneys across the U.S. could suddenly bring a subpoena to the courts and request the president's time and energy into refurbishing these documents, right? Which could definitely fuck things up. I mean, that could make things a nightmare. And it was a pretty good rebuttal on the New York's part was that it wouldn't be every district attorney, but because Trump is the executive and the owner and his headquarters is in New York, that would be the only instance in which a sitting president would actually be or could be or his organization could be investigated by a district attorney. So he wouldn't have to worry about the other 2,399 because he has no business dealings in those places and he's not headquartered there. So it would have been headed up by one person. So basically, the argument that it would just take up too much of his time by all these district attorneys investigating him kind of fell flat on his face. And then the whole House needing it to pass legislation kind of fell flat on its face. So it's going to be very interesting to see what happens, but it is going to affect the next sitting president because I guarantee you, day one of Biden's term or whoever the next president is, someone's gonna ask for some records regarding something, and it's gonna be a fucking shitstorm. So that's why they're being very careful about the decisions they make, because if they say, yeah, you can investigate the president and anything he owns for whatever, right? The next one could be the Republicans trying to impeach Biden for, his son's dealings with Ukraine, right? So it could be this fucking never-ending spiral. So, not exactly on topic with the whole previous discussion, but I'd rather talk about that stuff than Parkland.
Yeah. Well, I'll make a proposal that we're done talking politics tonight.
Well, that actually wasn't politics. That was law.
Still politics. Law is politics now. Everything's politics.
How dare you? How dare you slander the good name of law, which is a separate branch of government, I might add.
Well, unless we're talking about Jude Law. I don't know.
I am very offended that you equated law and politics. To me, that's pretty bad. I'm not gonna lie. That's pretty.
Yeah, law and politics being equated. All these conservative justices being stacked up to pass the Republicans' agenda.
That. Oh my God! If you can name me one court case that was improperly
Oh, I don't fuck with that shit.
decided
I can
upon,
promise you
and
there are
why,
plenty.
and why?
Don't you
Bring
think
it up
it's
then.
just a little bit of a
love to
coincidence that these justices almost always vote along party lines? Like, that to me paints a little bit of a problem when you can go and review all of these cases, and I'm not saying all of them do. But there's a fucking hell of a lot of that shit going on. I'm just like, I don't know. If they were truly impartial, I think they'd cover a pretty broad spectrum of.
But they do. I really think that you have kind of said, oh well, they don't vote for everything that I like all the time, so therefore they're impartial.
No, I'm saying on both sides of the aisle, whether they're Republican justices or Democrat, like, it's bullshit that.
But name a case.
That they are even have those labels, like that shouldn't even apply. That justices should be completely they shouldn't be affiliated with a party.
That's what they say they are, and I really truly believe they are. I really do believe that the Supreme Court justices have grown up and believe in certain things because of the court cases they've to decide on, right? And that's why presidents pick them based on their track record. Yeah. But it doesn't always work out that way, right? They can vote however the fuck they want. Like,
well, it makes news when they don't. Makes big news.
Does.
Like,
it does, and it happens a lot. It does happen a lot.
Like the gay, right? Like the gay marriage case.
Right.
That was fucking huge. Taxes. But of course, that was like, you had one miraculous thing where, you know, the one swing justice voted. Everyone else just voted along party lines. It was clear that.
But but maybe it wasn't party lines. Maybe it was the area in which they grew up, right? Maybe you're equating.
I don't know, man. I think that's just a little too convenient of a coincidence. Just. I don't think that.
But see, why would party matter at that point in time? Like, you are literally your own branch of government. You sit above everybody else, every other motherfucker on the planet, right? Why would you even need to? And you're there for life, right? You can never be replaced. So what would be the point?
I guess it's more of a problem of the people that put these people into power. The fact that there are justices out there that, you know, so consistently will look past certain objective truths or certain things because.
Like
I don't even need to give examples. I mean, think about all of the major court cases, especially in the last few decades, and how every single time the Republicans vote along Republican lines and the Democrats vote along Democrat lines, and it's just that case. And I think it's more of a problem of the people putting these justices, you know, they can never be removed, like you said, and making sure that they find the right one to guarantee that they're going to get the vote that they want every time. That's where it's perverted, and that's where it's in. You cannot say that it's completely divorced of politics because they are a product of fucking politics. Like, they're being hand-selected by people because those people know that these justices are going to vote the way they want them to vote almost every fucking time, and you cannot tell me that's not the case.
That they're going to vote how they want them to vote.
Why else would Republicans go through so much effort and openly state that it is their priority to get as many conservative justices in as possible? Like, why would that even be a thing if there are these impartial people that are completely divorced from politics? It just doesn't stack up.
I see I think you have a very good point. I think if there was more one-sided cases Like I struggle to think of a case off the top of my head. Again, I'm not a legal scholar to say that was bullshit, right? Like that was a bad ruling on a case, especially at that level.
Yeah, and I don't know enough to say. I really did not like the one that allowed. What is it? Was it the Citizens United that allowed corporations to basically be treated as?
That one was tough. I don't agree with that one either, but I have not read anything about it.
Yeah, I don't know enough I don't know enough to speak intelligently about it.
Or why they decided on it, right? So one thing you have to consider too is they try to vote in a way that doesn't necessarily make them the Congress, right? To make the laws. They try to let us make the laws while trying to, try not to replace. And that's one. But see, that's another thing we put them in is we say we want these crazy, stupid laws in place, right? Like choice and slavery and all these, pipelines and presidential taxes, right? We put them in these hard places, and we say, we don't know we don't know how to vote on this, or we don't want to vote on this. We don't want to be the bad guys. You guys be the bad guys, right? So I think you're right that like people like Ginsburg are going to be very liberal all the time. I think that's more of a product of her upbringing, though, right? Like I think that she's a woman's rights,
right? I just feel like it's kind of a moot point. Like regardless of what led them to that point, the bottom line is these people are being hand selected by politicians to try to ensure that their specific agendas get passed. And I don't know, it feels like it feels like our system of government could function a lot better if I don't know. I don't have a solution. I'm just saying I don't think that the way they're put into power should be I don't know whether they should be voted in. Like, I don't know.
No. Well, I mean, technically they are. They're voted in by the Senate.
Right. I don't. Right? Yeah. I don't have a solution, but it just. They shouldn't even have a party name attached to them. They should be completely impartial. Like.
They say they do. They say that they are impartial. They say they have no party tag, but that's not what people want to hear. People want to hear, I will get this party person elected, even the Chief Justice has come out and said, we don't follow parties. We are not a party. Like, we don't care. We are our own government, our own branch of government. Right? And, I mean, they back it up with law. Yeah. And I think for the most part, I would say our legal scholars and people in charge there have got their shit together for the most part. Of all the branches and all the organizations in the government, I will say I'm the happiest the most with them. Because they have come out and I think done the best they could with what they had for good reason. 85% of the time, which is pretty fucking good compared to other systems, right? It's a hard decision they have to make sometimes, but I really like listening to them. Did you know Clarence Thomas? He's the black guy on the Supreme Court.
I know who he is.
He didn't talk or didn't speak in any of his court cases. He speaks incredibly rarely.
Yeah, and I think I've always heard that.
Like he went like I don't know a decade, like 10 years, without saying a word in court because he didn't want to cloud the arguments with his own opinion. Like he just wanted to hear the opinions of the. I don't know. Like I kind of respect stuff like that. Like Scalia. I mean, he's a super Catholic and he's a hardcore conservative. Everyone will tell you, but he actually had some pretty good arguments. I mean, I actually read his book. It's called Interpreting Law. I think it was called Interpreting Law. It was a great book. I mean, the guy was incredibly smart. Just totally different way of thinking, and just I agreed a lot with what he had to say. Honestly, I think that's one of the reasons I'm more conservative now. Is I believe more with like Scalia's reasoning than. So I love reading law, talking law, listening to law. Like,
Yeah.
I really enjoy it. So.
Well, when it comes to the more theoretical side of things, I mean, I think there are certainly some great debates to be had about the ideals behind conservatism and the ideals behind liberalism, and it just makes me sad that the reality of the world we live in is so much of that shit has been sacrificed for a fucking just so we can all just have this nice circus that we're watching, this slow dumpster fire that is just burning us all into oblivion.
It is entertaining on a sick level, but I'm kind of a sick person.
I don't know. I wish there were more, like, why are there not more people in the Republican Party like Jeff Flake who, like, I don't know, like, I actually, if I never really cared for that guy because he had an R in front of his name, but when he actually started, like, having the courage to speak up and say, like, as Republicans...
Careful.
As Republicans, like, we are betraying the ideals of our party by going along with this fucking psychopath. Like, why are there not more people? Like, that should be a pretty tame, easy conclusion to reach, especially for Republicans when you really think about what they supposedly stand for. There should be a lot of shit to be pissed off at Donald Trump about.
There
should be. You take politics out of it, just some of the shit he said and done, and it's like, they very lightly condemn him when they absolutely have to, but, they fall right in line behind him.
The one thing that immediately got me on, that told me, no, that this guy is not gonna, me and him are not gonna get along, was when he started bashing pretty strongly John McCain.
Yeah, dude, yeah.
It wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back. Like, it was an instant, like, bullet to the head. Like, it was right then and there that anyone else should have just been fucking, protests from dusk till dawn, right? Like, war veteran, prisoner of war. He helped his, fellow prisoners escape.
Yeah. Well, and he was generally a good man. Like, even when he was, up against Obama, he fucking shut people down when they tried to accuse Obama of potentially being a terrorist. Yep. Like, he actually, there was a lady that said that, and he's like, no, what you're saying is absolutely wrong. Obama is a good man. And it's just like, dude, yes, he clearly has principles, and, he can take a principled stand and get beyond politics. And
except that
was
one
respectable.
When he had that one Alaskan lady run for vice president.
That was just a bad decision. We all make bad decisions sometimes. He was probably drunk.
I told you I knew him on a personal level, right?
No.
In the military, I tried to get a waiver, and I had to get a waiver from my state senator.
Huh.
And he wouldn't sign it. I never told you that story.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, so I tried to get in the military. And the only one that would give me that kind of a medical waiver would either be a flag officer or a senator in Congress. So at the time, my senator was John McCain.
Oh, cool.
And I said, hey, I'm a diabetic. I want to get in. And his words to me, I'm going to paraphrase, were that I would be putting my team at risk because of diabetes, right? And because something where in military where everyone is expected to fight. And then I'm going to quote him exactly: if you get into a situation that we can't get you out, we can't airlift you in Oreo.
Wait, he said that?
Yeah, he actually said that to me. When in a conversation in his office in Tucson.
That's cool.
So, as much as I fucking hated him for it, I understood it. I understand it now. I mean, I would be putting everybody at risk if my blood sugar dropped and I couldn't, because he was a POW for 7 years or about 4 years.
I want to say, for real now, we've got to stop talking about politics.
For reals now?
For reals now. There's so much wonderful stuff in the world. You know, we had our long politics talk.
Speaking of stuff, I got off of politics a while ago, but you equate law and politics together, which is sadly your own fucking fault. But I'm just joshing you. Did you see the new Unreal Engine 5?
Yeah, it looks incredible. It's kind of, I guess, a part of me is sad that our graphics are already so good that like this leap, it's just getting less and less impressive with each generation.
Right. Nothing revolutionary. I think you read probably the same review I did, where we went from 2D Mario to 3D Mario. That was a huge, technological.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry, go ahead. Well, I'll let you finish.
Okay. So Unreal 5, I loved how clear everything was. I love the transition when the main character was looking across the plains and she sees the portal. There was no cutscenes or transitions between spaces. It was all one seamless set, right? That just, you could just see all the way across this fucking map. Like, I didn't even think the draw distance, you could ever make a draw distance that far. Yeah. I'm sure one day, you'll be able to see, entire planets, but that was still just, it was really cool to see where we can go with games. And the lighting and the way it all, worked together. But you're absolutely correct. There's nothing revolutionary about it. There's nothing new, and it's not virtual or, it doesn't have joysticks on it, right? Like nothing.
I think it's something more subtle than that. I think we're all kind of, the positive thing I will say about it is these advances in technology and in engines and all of that is going to continue to make it easier and easier for smaller studios to make better and better and more complex games. And I think that's what's really exciting is, up until now, if you wanted to make those super high-end blockbuster games, you had to be a big studio with hundreds upon hundreds of people. But when you really get into some of the technical things they're saying that you'll be able to do with the Unreal Engine, like you don't need to create special animations for certain things because the engine is smart enough to, like, just through programming to know as this entity comes up close to this object to reach their hand out and touch the object. Right. Like that's where it's exciting. Like the entire development pipeline, so many things can be streamlined that it should hopefully lead to more impressive, amazing games with awesome gameplay and, games like that are even makeable by small studios, because now that they don't need hundreds of artists doing custom animations and shit,
My only question at that point is, what does the license cost, right? Like, let's say you're a small studio and you want to make the next Halo, right?
Unreal Engine 4 was free.
But, oh, really?
Yeah, it's free. I think it's the way it works is they get a cut of your sales. But to use the engine and to make something, I'm pretty sure there used to be much steeper licensing fees, but starting with Unreal Engine 4, they basically opened up and they said this is free to use by anybody. But I think at a certain point, if you use their engine and make a game and then go and sell it, then they're entitled to some amount of some percentage of those profits.
I am 1,000% on board with that.
Yeah, that's a great model, great business model. I fucking salute them.
I really liked some of the stuff I saw. I think, when I was watching that video, I was like, this game would make a great Lara Croft game.
Oh, yeah. Like, I wondered right away. I was like, is this like a preview for the next Lara Croft?
Like, you could make the next, like, God of War Lara Croft without fucking a sweat. And, with that engine, it was just... Oh shit, we got a skeleton another guy here on our walkway.
Shit, dude, we're almost done with this. Like, we're almost done with this tunnel. We politicked our way through getting this tunnel done.
See, this is why I talk politics. It bends the fabric of space and time.
Good.
After I empty what I got, I think I got 3 stacks of panes and glass blocks. I have to go to bed.
Okay.
We're gonna go view the 2 houses on the top of our list tomorrow, and I will let the realtor know that you will be contacting her.
Yes, please do.
Yeah, and she'll start like, so she actually hit us up because we said we want to be, and you'll get familiar with the only freeway in Denver or Colorado. There's a couple in Denver, but only one into the Springs. But it's Highway 25 or Interstate 25. We said we want to be west of 25, and we're really adamant about that. So she sends us this one house that's a little east of 25, and she goes, "Please don't kill the messenger." But it's like 10 o'clock at night. We get emails from her every fucking day.
Good.
For the past 2 weeks.
That's really good.
Yeah, she's ambitious as fuck. You'll like her, I promise.
Well, awesome, man. Well, that's a great segue to a question Rasinka asked many, many moons ago that we were too into politics at the
law
time.
and politics and the meaning of life. You know this.
Yeah, so Rasinka had asked, so you're moving in a few months. What's on the list of must-haves for the new house? So, I will be happy to go through that because we were working on that list right now.
How many bedrooms?
Minimum of 3 bedrooms.
Wow, that's it?
Well, we'll get to that. So we need to at least have a room for us, master bedroom, a room for Nolan, and a room for Isla. And if it's only 3 bedrooms, it needs to have either an office or another room that can serve as an office. Because sometimes when they list houses, certain criteria needs to be met for a room to be called a bedroom. So I wouldn't want to rule out certain houses when the only reason we need anything beyond 3 bedrooms is so that we can have one of them serve as an office.
So I will tell you right now, I already know the answer to both of those, and to give you some good news, pretty much every house we looked at but one had a finished basement.
Yes, and that's what we're well aware of. And I'm pretty sure, even if it's finished, they're not allowed to include basement size in the square footage of the house, are they? When they list it.
Yes, they are. Yes, they
Only if it's finished, though, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, because I had read a bunch of stuff saying they can't say it's a 3,000 square foot house when half of that is the basement, but maybe it's only if it's finished and livable.
They can.
Or something.
Correct. And there are criteria for that, and you can actually count bedrooms in the basement if it A has a closet, B has a door, and C has an accessible window. So you have to have a window that is accessible to outdoors. Now most basement rooms that count as rooms have a little well. It looks like a little stainless steel tub thing that kind of sits around the window that you can climb out of in case of emergency.
Gotcha. Well, and so Rasinka says guest bedroom. Not really a concern for us. I mean, I think if we needed those amenities, I'm estranged from my family. She only talks to her mom, so it's very, very unlikely that we're really ever going to have visitors, except for you and Connie. And I would think as long as we have an office, that could also serve as a guest room. That's kind of the plan.
Yeah, so
now we'll take more bedrooms if we find the right house, and it's a 5-bed. We live in a 5-bedroom house now, but we're perfectly happy downsizing. Fortunately, when we bought this house, we went up so much higher than what we were. We literally doubled that. Now we know exactly what we could get away with going down by at least 500 square feet and be perfectly comfortable.
So we're actually looking at the 2 houses are about 2,300 square feet and 4 to 5 bedroom.
Yeah.
And it's well within your price range. But Castle Rock is a little bit more expensive.
Yeah.
Not much more. I think with the equity you have in what you got now, and based on what I know, you should be able to get, in my opinion, you should look for a 4-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-car garage, finished basement, and I think you'll be just fine.
Yeah, I think our range is probably about 450.
Yeah, that's about right for Castle Rock.
Yeah, and so we had already looked up and we saw a bunch of stuff in our range. We'll gladly go much lower, but I think that's kind of the upper end that we'd be looking at, about 450.
Yeah, we're a little bit below that, and most of the houses that we're looking at are not newer. Where Castle Rock is mostly newer, which is a benefit to you.
Yeah.
You generally don't use a lot of central air.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm looking forward to having a way cheaper electric bill than we have here. I know the gas bill will supposedly be higher, but there's no way the gas bill would be as high as our $600 electric bill in the summer here.
Do you have glass blocks?
I just ran out. All I have left are panes.
Same here. I will tell you, if you can find a place with a fireplace, they're nice, but try to get gas because wood is a little pricey. Pretty much every house you're going to see, I would assume, would have a fireplace. John. Just because of the nature of, where you're going to be living. I'm trying to think of what else.
Well, yeah. So some of the other things that
get a garage, dude. I'll tell you right now.
Oh yeah.
You do not want to not have a garage.
No, well, I didn't even know they made houses without garages. If we were taken to see a house without a garage, we would just say, yeah, can we just drive to the next house, please?
So that's another piece of criteria, the garage. You're gonna find finished basements everywhere.
That's great.
If you can find one, swamp coolers. I highly recommend swamp cooler because of how dry it is out here. It's just as dry as Arizona, believe it or not, and it does kind of suck, because you'll get. It's actually may even be a little bit drier because of the wind. Mm-hmm. So I actually had a lot of bloody noses when I first moved here. So,
interesting.
I highly recommend humidifiers and swamp coolers if you could.
Okay.
But we're looking at one with central air. I'm trying to think of what else.
Wait, wood is also a PETA. Wait, what? Oh, pain in the ass. Wood.
Oh. No,
like just for a fireplace. Or.
Yeah, wood fireplaces. It's expensive. It's like $7 a bundle, and you go through a bundle every, 30 minutes to an hour. So you can imagine, $15 a night. In wood.
Well, I would assume we would just have a heater.
Yeah,
right?
Every house has to have a heater by law.
We would. Yeah, I think the fireplace would be something like on the weekends. Maybe we have a fire or whatever. Right. Not that we'd be doing it all the time. But anyway,
you also have to have a radon detector out here. A radon mitigation system. Okay. So radon naturally emits from the ground.
Yeah.
And there's a radon meter outside your house. And actually, Lisa was the one who the realtor walked me through this, and she checked every fucking house that we were in to make sure it had a working radon meter. I'm going to grab a couple more glass blocks here.
Okay. Well, I'm coming back to grab whatever else I can grab, too.
So the radon naturally emits from the ground, and you have these radon mitigation systems, which is like a tube with a fan in it.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a meter on it on the tube, and if it shows 0, that's bad. So what it basically reads is the fan speed. So if it shows 0, it means the fan isn't working. That's bad. So she'll tell you what the proper range is, and she'll hook you up with all the stuff that she'll recommend septic if you're not living in town. She'll recommend septic, general, and I forget who the other inspector was. Plumbing, maybe? there's 3 different inspectors she recommends, but she'll help you check the radon, and you'll see it too. It runs all the time, and it basically pumps this poisonous gas or potentially poisonous gas, out of your crawl space and into the atmosphere.
Yeah, I'm somewhat familiar with that. Well, Rasika said we had a wood heater. Dad had to cut wood all the time. Bits of bark would spread through the house thanks to the dogs. Bugs came out of the wood into the yeah.
Yep.
Well, it'll be fun. Better than scorpions, which we have to fucking deal with. But well, I wanted to go through a couple of the other the list for our house. I think I said at least 3 bedrooms. We'll take more, but that's our minimum, and then either a 4th bedroom or an office, just whatever works out. A finished basement is something that would be really nice, so if we can get that, great. Along with the finished,
one had a finished basement.
Well, along with the finished basement, it doesn't necessarily need to go in the basement, but I do have this big ass pool table. And my hope is that we find a house with a good finished basement that has like a big open area that we can make a game room out of. Like put a pool table and darts and all that stuff.
The house we're actually going to see tomorrow, which we actually are probably going to get, actually has 2 living rooms. One upstairs with big windows, and one downstairs that's a pretty much equivalent size.
Yeah.
That actually could easily fit a projector, a bar, and a pool table. Yeah. And it has a wood fireplace.
Well, yeah, because we've got a big bar, we've got our 9-foot pool table, I've got a dartboard. And I'd love to, set up a proper game room, like get all my video game stuff set up down there, and that'd be fantastic. So that's one of the things. You should look at a projector.
Fuck so projectors. The 2 houses we're looking at right now, one actually is already set up with a projector and surround sound. So, but again, we've looked at probably 20 houses. And all but one had finished basements.
Yeah, so, I don't know. I can't remember if you've seen the TV we have now, but I've got an 83-inch QLED, so I'm good.
Yeah,
I love my TV. It's the best.
So I'll tell you, the houses are big enough to support that TV. This is a full living room size downstairs. Oh shit, 2 gas. We have 2 gas. One in front of us and one to the left. I have no arrows.
Oh, so
can you toss me an arrow?
Oh yeah,
or a couple.
So Rasinka says basements there aren't a thing. So same here, Rasinka. That's why we're so excited about this concept of a basement, because Arizona, because our bedrock is so hard, almost no houses in Arizona have basements. It's like very rare.
Every house has a fucking basement.
I mean, I think most places where there's 4 seasons, they usually have basements. Like when we lived in Michigan when I was a kid, we had a basement there, and so yeah, really excited about that. As far as the size, I think 2,500 square feet is probably the lower end. Our house right now is 3,000 square feet, so
that's pretty big for a 3 or 4 bedroom. You're probably looking closer to a 5-bedroom at that point.
Right, and our house now is 3,000 square feet, 5-bedroom, 3-bath. So I'm like, I know we could easily go smaller if we need to. We don't need 5 rooms. We don't even need 4 as long as we get the office. And then, just some of the other things, like, just kind of miscellaneous. We want hardwood flooring. We're done with fucking carpet. Done with it, man.
So, when you say hardwood, you need to be more specific, because you have laminate.
Yeah, not laminate. I'll take laminate. I'm not going to like poo-poo it, but I certainly do not want carpet. I would prefer actual hardwood floor.
Most of the houses out here have hardwood floors and carpet. So I think...
And the carpet in the bedrooms is okay. I'm not going to have a problem with that, but...
So the 2 houses we're looking at now have hardwood floors in upstairs and carpeted downstairs and other parts of the house, but it does have a good, like, one house we actually has real hardwood floors where you can actually sand them and stain them.
Yeah,
the other one I
love
think
that. Is laminate.
No, it's manufactured. So there's 3 different types of hardwood. There's manufactured, which is basically pieces of wood that are kind of glued together that you actually can't sand down because the top layer is stained. You've got tongue and groove, which is solid wood that you can sand down and stain. And then there's another one, I can't remember what it's called. So there's 3 different types of hardwood floors, but I think that the 3 bedrooms is going to be too small. I think you're going to be looking at more of a 4 or 5 bedroom, to be honest.
No, I mean we've already found a bunch that say 2,500 square feet, 3 bedroom, 2.5 bath. And I am assuming when they say 3 bedroom that they have an extra living room or a room that serves as an office that they can't call a bedroom because it doesn't meet that criteria.
Correct. Yes, that's the big thing is people can't call them bedrooms, but they're like, but with that much flooring space, you're talking a living room upstairs and a living room downstairs.
Yeah.
So.
No, I mean we'll happily continue to have a big house, like it. It's just we're fine being flexible in that regard.
Send you the.
But we also want one of Bridget's must-haves is the kitchen to have a walk-in pantry, and I would agree with that. It would be very nice to have a walk-in pantry.
I have not seen a walk-in pantry in any of the houses we've looked at.
Yeah, I mean, and we didn't see that a whole lot here when we were looking at houses either.
Yeah, that one I've not seen out here.
But it would be a really nice thing with 4 of us, just having a little bit of a bigger pantry that we can keep organized a little more easily. We obviously want a decent sized backyard that has plants and that has grass and trees and
that one you won't have a problem with.
Yeah, I'm fucking done living in a desert with just a bunch of jagged rocks in my backyard and oh my god, can't wait to be done with Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I'm trying. There's not really any other major things. We were saying we don't want to be by any major roads. We've had that experience living in a house that was right behind a major road and waking up at night when you try to leave the windows open because it's cool and a fucking semi drives by and you're being woken up all night. I've done that enough. So no busy roads. And it needs to be within a 25-mile radius of 25-minute drive of the Denver Tech Center. So I'm basically going to say, here's the Denver Tech Center. Let's draw a big radius and just say, under normal conditions that it would take 25 minutes to get to work. Find me a house inside that radius. And we're going to probably prefer either Castle Rock, Castle Pines, or Centennial. Centennial we really, really liked, and we... I found some really good houses there.
I just sent you a text message. If you get a chance, the price is just between you and I and the fly on the wall. But get a chance to look at the pictures. Just kind of, if you want to quickly scroll through them. So it's a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 2,300 square foot. But you can kind of see all the hardwood floors. Has a finished basement. Has grass yard.
Awesome, man.
And you can kind of see for the price what you're getting.
Yeah,
but
that's consistent with a lot of stuff that we've looked at. We found some stuff in that range. I'd like to go like cheaper. I mean, we definitely, as far as life philosophy goes, we have realized that we kind of want to not necessarily embrace minimalism, but I think we've lived life long enough and gone through the capitalistic treadmill long enough that we realize we have enough shit. There's not really other things we need a bigger and bigger house for. I kind of like there's no other like major things that are going to just transform my life and make me happy suddenly. So it's like I think we want to kind of downshift a little bit and just say like, let's actually get something that's just the amount of space we actually need, and then let's just work hard in life at not filling up that space with a bunch of useless shit that's never going to really bring us any joy. And I think we just realized we're kind of in that state already, and I don't know, I want to live in equilibrium with my surroundings and not constantly be hungry for bigger and better and more and more and more. Just want to settle down and just be happy.
Yeah, grass... It's natural, right? You're gonna need a lawnmower.
I already got a lawnmower.
But yeah, so I sent you that. So like I don't know if you get a chance to look through those pictures, but there's a fireplace actually downstairs with like a pit. It's like a little hole in the wall for just storing wood, which is kind of cool. But it is only 2 bath. Castle Rock is going to be more expensive, so I think the price that you're looking at and the size, I think it's pretty consistent. I mean, I think you'll be okay.
Yeah.
But Lisa would really be. Like I said, she's been doing realty in this area for 30 years or 25 years, so she knows her shit.
Great. That's the kind of person we're looking for. Someone that knows the area, that can find all those listings that you're not going to be able to find very well yourself. Someone that can, give us some actual tips on what we don't know, and we need somebody that's going to point out the things that we're completely oblivious to.
Right. I'm actually going to head back. I got to go to bed because we got to view these houses tomorrow morning.
Cool.
But yeah, the finished basement thing is really cool. Like, we don't even know how we're going to fill both living rooms with our stuff. But we're thinking about turning the downstairs into like a party room / living room with like a couch, a projector, the fireplace, like a bar. We're planning on building a bar in there, like a hangout room.
Yeah.
And putting and then we even have another room that doesn't qualify as a bedroom because it doesn't have a window. There's actually 2 of them. One we're going to turn into a workout room for all of our workout gear and equipment, and the other one is going to be my office, but they don't qualify as bedrooms. So technically, the house has 5 rooms that you could put a bed, but only 3 can be classified as bedrooms.
Yeah.
So I think you won't have any problem with looking for a finished basement. Every fucking house is a finished basement, which is, in my opinion, tons of fucking fun because you're downstairs in your own little world.
Oh, dude, I dream of just having.
That's how I am.
Amazing.
Like I'm down here and I can blast my music and you cannot hear a peep upstairs.
I know.
Like, it's dead silent because it's 2 floors. And then I got a Ubiquiti router with the long range router, and I just have it down in the basement pointing up, and it covers the whole house.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So.
Rasika says, buy a big enough block and get a pony to mow the lawn.
Yeah. So a lot of up in where we're looking at eventually moving, they have cattle, and they
keep the grass trimmed.
They'll clear the underbrush, but they give what's called grazing rights, and it's only like $5 a year that you get. That some rancher will pay you $5 a year to allow his cattle to come on your property to free roam. But they eat all the shit on the ground to kind of keep down on the potential forest fires.
Yeah.
So it's really
and they fertilize the ground and make your land even more fertile. That's a win-win.
Right. It all stays pretty fertilized. It's. Good Lord, this is a long fucking drive. You won't have any problem growing grass. There are snakes, but they're not as common. There's no scorpions. There's no ticks.
Yeah, that was the one we were really happy to hear, is that the elevation's too high for ticks, and ticks are such a huge problem in so many parts of the U.S.
Yep.
People don't talk about it, but what is it? Is it Lyme disease that people get from ticks?
Yep. Lyme disease.
Man, that sounds like a fucking
From
brutal
deer
one.
Elk, and you will see lots of wildlife, especially in Castle Rock. I mean, you do get elk herds and deer that will just eat shit out of your front lawn, like full rack bucks that you see on nature documentaries.
Yeah,
I mean,
awesome.
if you are living out in the Rockies, right? And again, you're an hour from the best ski resorts on the planet.
Yep.
I just think that Castle Rock is the booming town. There's tons of traffic between Castle Rock and Colorado Springs, but from Castle Rock to Denver, it's not that bad. because it's all 5 lanes each direction. And now they just added a tram in Centennial that goes from Centennial all the way to DIA.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, not a lot of people take it, but they do take it. I mean, some people do. So, yeah, I'm super duper excited that you're moving out here. That'd be so cool to come up and just, or you can come down and we can, shit, if you want to fish or hunt or try your turkey call, you know, you can turkey call with me this.
I'll go out there. I'll hide in a bush far away from you.
Oh, God.
The problem is you might think I'm a turkey and shoot me. I'm just worried about that.
The only thing is most of my arrows only have a pretty effective distance of about 40 yards because of the type of arrow I'm using. They're called broadheads.
All right, I will stay 41 yards away from you.
They're called guillotine arrows. And imagine a big cross on the end of an arrow with 4 blades, about 2 inches on each blade. So you've got about 5 inches of cutting width, and basically you shoot for the head, and the idea is to take their head off in one shot. So you don't, and this is with a bow, so you got to be really precise, and you have to be pretty close.
How many turkeys have you killed this way?
No, I've not killed any.
Okay. That sounds like a very difficult thing to do.
It's incredibly difficult, but even broadheads, because, I mean, if you don't hit a turkey in its vitals, it'll actually fly away with an arrow stuck in them, which is what you don't want. So most hunters, anything over 40 yards, they don't shoot at. Most good hunters, most ethical hunters.
Yeah.
For bow. I mean, you lose so much, you lose so much force behind the arrow at 40 yards. I mean, my bow set at 65 pounds, and 65-pound draw is a lot. I would challenge any new shooter to pull on a 65-pound bow their first time and actually draw it. It's incredibly difficult. It's taken me years to get up to be able to shoot accurately at 65 pounds. But at 30, to give you an example, you can take down an elk with 35 pounds at close distance.
Damn.
Yeah, with a compound bow. So 65 has a lot of force behind it, but again, you're shooting this arrow fast enough and hard enough to take off his head, cleanly in one shot.
Wow.
So,
dude, I can see the nether portal. I can see it. We're really close to it. Oh my god, we're gonna finish this.
Well, I'm not. I gotta go to bed.
Well, it's not gonna be finished tonight, but I think our next session will easily be able to finish this.
We need a lot of blue ice.
Yeah, that's gonna be the part that'll trickle in at the end, I guess.
Oh, we're finally done.
Yes.
Yay. So now we have access to our woodland mansion, which with your giant duck bed.
Yeah. Super awesome.
Wow. You'll like it out here, man. I really think you will.
I know I will.
I think you'll like the people and the atmosphere and the weather. It's just, and you get you can actually say I live in a place with 4 fucking seasons.
Yep. Yeah, I put my time in. I know what I do and don't like, and even it's amazing how many people, they think that that their experience is just going to be everyone's, and they try to tell me that I'm not going to like it as much as I think I am, and once you deal with a cold winter, you're going to wish you lived back in Phoenix, and
No, I don't. I'll tell you right now, I fucking not.
Yeah, and I know well enough to know I will take a cold winter where I can put some layers on and still go do something than these fucking scorching 4 to 5 months we have every summer where leaving the house is just like utter pain.
Yourself in the car and sitting in traffic. Fuck that shit, dude. I love it when they're like 3 feet of snow tomorrow. I'm like, yes,
and
from home.
8 inches of rain a year. Like, I have to sit there and wait for the rare rain that we get, or
it's monsoon, so it's like it's not even a little rain. It's like, oh, you have a house, let me wash it away. You know, you don't have to deal with that shit. Like, oh,
it's so arid and
nice.
dead that we have to route water from the Colorado River just to give us like the one life-sustaining source we need.
And that's the funny thing is all the stuff that's up here feeds that river.
Yeah.
Right. So so Colorado is actually feeds.
Oh, yeah.
Like I think it goes all the way down to like Texas.
Yeah, there's actually laws in Colorado against you have to get a permit and special approval to even collect rainwater. Yeah, you're not allowed to do rainwater harvesting because it's there's a very careful balance and they have to make sure that those critical water sources
for other people in other states.
Yeah,
that's how fucking awesome Colorado is. They're conscientious enough to think about all the people in all the other fucking states who depend on this water supply, that they limit how much and where we take the water from. You love it, man. I love being snowed in because it's like, oh, I don't have to go outside. We just bundle up, and you get like
I can't
snow
wait. I cannot wait.
Like we had snow on New Year's, so it was like New Year's fireworks and snow coming down. You built snowmen and skiing, and oh my fucking god, dude, it is.
Yeah.
And the nice thing is it's a dry snow, meaning it doesn't always stick to everything. So that's one thing you have to be real careful of is your front and backyard you want facing east and west, and here's why. If your backyard is facing north or south and you have like a big overhang on your house, the snow in the backyard will not melt.
Yeah.
That is the only time it won't. So you literally have snow there pretty much year round. So that's
Awesome.
one thing I would highly, highly recommend is try to get a house that has a front and back that faces east-west, because you'll get that snow melt. So you'll, in like a day or two, you'll be able to, sit in your yard. But most of the time when it snows, because it's so dry, you can just take a fucking leaf blower and go outside.
Yeah, I've heard that.
Get rid of the snow in the front yard. Like, oh my god, it is so fucking nice. It's like, oh, it's a light dusting. You just whip out the fucking leaf blower and clear all the shit out. It's. And like I said, get a lawnmower with a bag. That's another thing I'd recommend, because picking up the shit is a pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
You'll want a grill. Everybody fucking grills.
I've got my nice little charcoal grill. I'm all set.
Okay.
I love charcoal.
I prefer a little more fancy dancy, but I do a lot of grilling.
I love the smell of charcoal. I feel like I could never give up that. I just love it.
No, charcoal's great. I do like gas grills for quick cooking, like brats or burgers or steaks, like something that doesn't take a lot of. But we're gonna get one of those Commodore style smokers, like the green egg. So that's one of the things we're gonna get when we move into the new house. Is I'm gonna build a outside cooking area with a green egg, a big green egg, to do smoking.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, everyone. Oh god, dude, it's. I love it out here. I wouldn't move anywhere else.
Well, that's where we intend to settle down. This is hopefully our second to last life stop, and I mean from here our goal really, is we look at what it costs, our cost of living is month to month. My goal is to never have that increase, other than like due to inflation or whatever. Like as far as I'm concerned, I have everything I would need. I do not need to keep that living creep where you keep getting more and more stuff you have to pay bills on, and the more money you make. Like I rather, as I make more money and get raises over the years, I'd rather keep my cost of living exactly where it's at and just continue to tuck all that away and retire in my 40s, man. That's my goal. Retire in my 40s and get my cabin out in the middle of nowhere. And
another couple pieces of advice for like driving. It would be worthwhile again to get a long handled ice scraper and brush.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll even just buy you one, because you don't want to get your hands in the snow when you're scraping it off the car. You probably want chains, especially on 25. Sometimes it shuts down because of the snow and the ice. It's not really a long time, but it's sometimes they will restrict where you go without chains. More south of Castle Rock, like heading towards the Colorado Springs, there's a place called Monument that they shut that down, and that's literally the Interstate 25, which is north-south Colorado.
Okay.
So there's no way to get through that. So chains, and then you want to make sure you have antifreeze for your coolant, because not all coolant is antifreeze.
Right.
And you might want to get an oil change when you get here, because they use different weight oil, just because it makes it easier to start the car in cold weather. And same thing with batteries. Like, you want to get all that shit checked out, because they use, like I said, different weight oil. They use antifreeze that doesn't, because it'll get down below zero sometimes, not all the time, but it will. In the snow, you have to be ready to deal with the snow. I don't think you'll need a snow blower, especially if you have like your wife's car is for four-wheel drive. Highly recommend four-wheel drive.
Well, yeah, like I said, we're going tomorrow, and if I can get the deal that I'm looking for, I will have a truck tomorrow. And obviously, if we're getting a truck, we're looking for either all-wheel drive or four-wheel drive. And
so everyone out here has a Jeep. I love Jeeps. They even have a Jeep truck model that are actually kind of nice. And honestly, like, you want to talk about a fucking vehicle that'll take you anywhere, it's a fucking Jeep. And everyone out here has a Jeep.
The problem is we need the big bed. Like, we need a vehicle that we can haul big shit around, especially when we're getting furniture and moving. And
so, a Jeep Gladiator is a Jeep that actually has a bed. It's a truck Jeep. It's called a Jeep Gladiator. They just came out with it. And a coworker has one.
The other piece too is we're backing out of our lease early, and so we're going to the Toyota dealership, and they're going to give us a pretty decent deal and not charge us to terminate the lease early. So that's the other factor, is we're trying to make sure we get a good deal. We don't get penalized for terminating our lease early.
Forerunners are nice. TRD models are pretty nice. That's the Toyota Racing Division. They have better suspension, bigger tires. That's the other thing you got to look at is tires. You definitely want all-terrain tires. You may even want to just wait till you get out here, but you want to focus more on something that can handle mud and snow, more snow and all-terrain, but doesn't create a lot of noise, which is, you're paying for premium price on tires at that point. I've got a set, but they're $250 a tire. So you're talking, I need 5 tires. So it's, $1,400 for tires. All-wheel drive tires. The Toyota 4Runners are nice. I don't think you need anything bigger than a 4Runner. I like the Chevy Colorados. Those are pretty nice. We almost bought one of those. Those are brand new. Hit me up before you buy a vehicle, and I'll tell you what I think of it.
Well, the guy was saying that he recommends Tacomas. I think he said Tacomas because they hold their value a lot better than other trucks. So as it depreciates, it doesn't depreciate as bad as others, and that's certainly a factor that would go into my decision making.
They do. Make sure you try to get something with all-terrain tires, if possible.
I think we're gonna have to just get those done when we move up there, because being here in Phoenix, I think it's gonna make this search very difficult.
Yeah, make sure you have 4-wheel drive. That's almost a must.
Yep, that's there on the list.
Backup cameras are pretty nice. Heated seats are really nice. You know, that's something that you Arizona people don't know nothing about. That's where the seat gets warm.
Oh, I've had a vehicle with heated seats here and accidentally turned it on at certain times and been like, why is my... Oh my god, it's 115 degrees out. Why is my seat burning my asshole?
So, remote start's also really nice to have.
Yeah.
I'm
looking to probably just get a used truck, just because, you know, speaking of keeping our cost of living, I'm not eager to take on. It's kind of nice that I've had my Prius completely paid off, and you know, Bridget's had the lease, but it hasn't been super. You know, leases aren't too bad, month to month. So now, you know, we are definitely looking to buy and not lease because we can't have the restrictions on mileage. I think we're expecting to drive it a lot more than we expected to drive our car here. So that whole 12,000 miles a year, that's just not going to fly. So I think we're just looking to buy a used truck, something with like less than 30,000 miles, hopefully.
So the 4-doors are nice. If you can, especially because you're going to be towing stuff. I mean, if you want, you can get it with the trailer module in it. And basically what that is it's hooked up to the emergency brake on the trailer, and you can actually squeeze the switch inside the cab to lock the e-brakes. That's pretty nice. You're not going to be doing a lot of towing of stuff, especially if it's going to be just one trip from Arizona.
Yeah, I mean, we'll probably rent a trailer or something, and we will, like, for the trip, one of the trips up, we'll probably, you know, hitch a trailer to it, bring as much stuff as we can, but that's not going to be a regular thing.
Yeah, you know, if you can, the Rhino liner in the bed. If they come with the mud stuff for the floors, get those, because you are gonna get mud and shit in the vehicle. But yeah, call me tomorrow. I'm gonna head to bed. I'm being summoned.
Cool, man. Well, it was fun playing, good chatting with you, and yeah, share the good news with Connie.
Yeah, I'm going to right now. Later, dude.
Later.
Hit me up tomorrow. Let me know.
Yep. Will do, man.
Peace.
Later. And yeah, Rusinka, branded by the seatbelt buckle. I can't count the number of times that bullshit has happened. Go to put the seatbelt on and it just burns you right in your tummy. Alright, let's see. What do we have here? I think I am going to go ahead and get these queued up just so we have enough smooth stone. And Jesus Christ, it is 1:17. Man, time really got away from me tonight. So stoked that we have made so much progress on that tunnel. Like, it's almost done. It's the best feeling ever, finishing such a huge monumental project. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and yeah, we'll just keep that smooth stone there. Let's see, what else do I want to do here? Hilux is indestructible. I am not familiar with Hilux. Yeah, thank you, Rusinka. Yeah, I will be the first to admit that I'm a complete dumbass when it comes to cars. I've never had even any remote interest in vehicles and any, you know, never cared about having a cool car. I drive a Prius, for Christ's sake. So yeah. At the end of the day, for me, it's all about, well, what can I get for the cost? And, you know, some of those things that we will need, like 4-wheel drive and, you know, some of the actual functional amenities are always nice. You know, the backup camera and all those types of things. But as far as, like, you know, the guts of a car and what makes one car better than another and for me, it all just comes down to what does it need to functionally do at the end of the day? How much is it going to cost me in maintenance? What's its gas mileage? Like, I want some efficient... I want to drive some efficient shit. I want it to do what it needs to do, and I don't want it to cost me a fortune. It's such a bummer that the Prius gets such a bad rap. Like, you know, it's not a PT Cruiser. I don't know why people are so down on Priuses. I mean, the old ones definitely looked a little goofy, but nowadays, like, they don't look any different than any other car, really. The hatchback isn't nearly as pronounced as it used to be. Yeah, no, what we get will almost certainly be a Toyota truck. So it'll be a Toyota Tacoma, RAV4, whatever. We'll just see what they have in their inventory and see if they can get it down to the price range we're looking for. So I need to be very, very careful to make sure that whatever we find doesn't cost us, you know, that we don't have to like dip into our savings and eat into the available funds that we need for down payment on house. And then, yeah, keep our monthly expenses roughly where they are. You know, hopefully get our monthly payments to be right around where our current monthly lease payments are, so that, you know, we're not taking on any new expenses. We're just trading one for another. Just going to do a tiny bit more branch mining here. I think that'd be a good chill way to close out the evening. Give me diamond! Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. I actually realize I should be going out of my way now to get all this redstone, because if we want to do those redstone blocks to line the corners of our tunnel, yeah, we're really gonna need a lot. See, I fucking hate this. It's already just burning hot here. I'm sitting here sweating in the office. It's 1:22 a.m. And, I mean, I don't know how hot it is outside. It's hotter than it should be. Well, I guess it says it's 72, but this room just stores up that heat because the sun bakes the walls of this room as the sun is setting, so it gets heated up real nice and then just stays hot all night. If I can get in our next house, if I can get my office in the basement, that would just be the fucking best. Love a Land Cruiser. Top Gear put a Hilux on top of a tall building. The building then got demolished and they brought the car back to life. Interesting. Very interesting. Yeah, I will say in general, I mean, I've had lots of different Toyota vehicles, and I've always been very happy with everything we've gotten with the name Toyota on it. I've had a Toyota Corolla, Toyota Camry, and a Toyota Prius, and they've all been outstanding cars. So I'm hoping their trucks follow suit. I know I have a couple coworkers that drive Toyota trucks, and they are pretty damn happy with them. Come on, diamond now. Please, diamond. Please. Give me a little bit of diamond, please. They didn't have to use any spare parts after that? God damn, man. Color me impressed. I'm kind of surprised too with our tunnel in the nether, just how we've been able to pull all that blue ice together relatively painlessly. I thought that part, oh, there we go, sweet fucking diamond. I thought the blue ice part was gonna take ages, but it really hasn't been that bad. Ah, there we go, 6 diamond blocks. That's, or diamond ore blocks. That's something I can go to bed peacefully tonight knowing I got my diamond. All right, a little bit further here. I'm gonna wrap it up here soon. Also drowned it in the sea and set it on fire. God damn. A few works have gone swimming. There's a bend with a dam on it, and multiple coworkers have missed the turn. What the fuck? You're on holidays for the next 2 weeks? Awesome, Rasinka. That sounds nice. Yeah, I took oh hell yeah, more diamond. I took yesterday off and today off, and I'm taking Monday off as well. I decided it was time for me to use a little bit of my personal leave. It's been a really crazy couple of months, and just needed a little bit of a break from work. And obviously, as we continue to make progress on this big move, I'm sure I will need to be taking a lot more days off here and there just to make little day trips out there to look at houses and whatever we need to do. Further do I want to go? Do I want to stop while I'm ahead, or am I going to find more diamond? What's it gonna be? Well, damn. It's not bad. get some of that redstone there. Alright, you know what? I'll just go until I'm out of torches. Feels like a good way to determine a good stopping point. God damn, man, yeah, this room is hot. Yeah, I guess I've probably never been over there. You're back, John! Do you think you can make it tomorrow to stream on the nursing home? Possibly. I don't want to commit just yet, just because we do have a lot going on. I will certainly try to stream tomorrow night. Yeah, I'll let you all know when I know for sure. I do really want to get the nursing home updated soon to 1.15.2. That's the one headache, is having to juggle the different Optifine versions. Unless I'm missing an easy way to like load a previous version without having to reinstall the 1.14.4 version. Okay. Beautiful. Beautiful. Alright, let's call that the last torch. And back we go! Yeah, I have profiles set up. So, like, I can load my Minecraft profile on any version, but it's like the Optifine profiles, for some reason, if I install 1.15.2, I don't have the option anymore for 1.14.4 Optifine. I have to, like, literally, like, go through and install it, whichever one I'm in. Maybe it's just in another menu and I'm missing it somewhere. Oh, no worries, Rosinka. I mean, I don't want to put too much pressure on. I feel like, you know, 1.15.2 came out in December, and, you know, I like to keep up with the latest versions. I'd like to get some B stuff going on there. Can have different profiles with different Optifine versions. Yeah, I'll look it up and see if there's an easy way to do the switching. Okay. Yeah, so let's just go stone here. There we go. Perfect. That there. That there. Oh, that there. Gravel. Just put the gravel there. Okay, you know what? Yeah, let's just take all of this up with me. May as well. We'll leave those there though. Beautiful, beautiful ores. That was good. That was a good little mini mining session at the end there. Oh, it's alright, Rosika. Sleep is sounding good. Okay. And let's just pop that in there, I guess. Coal ore. Redstone ore. And diamond ore. There we go, 23 diamond ore. We're getting somewhere. Gold. Let's get this smelting here, and then we will drop the lapis lazuli. Minecraft Dungeons. I'm mildly interested in Minecraft Dungeons. You know, I'd be curious to see like, you know, how the reviews come out. Like that type of game, like, you know, I've had fun with those types of games before, but I'm not typically particularly interested in them. But who knows? Could be really good. Multiplayer for up to 4. Oh, well, awesome. Alright, well, I'm going to call it a night here. I'm sorry that braces suck, John. I'm sorry. I'm sure one day you'll look back and be glad you had them and be glad that they're done with. And yeah, Tagson, I hope to see you more often, but no worries. I haven't been streaming as often anyways, so you know, you're still making it pretty consistently, it feels like. But yeah, good night, everyone. I will see if I can hopefully stream tomorrow night, so I'll let you all know how that pans out. And I will see you later.